These guys 69. Friday, scattered showers and a couple of non-severe thunderstorms. Focus on the afternoon, 85. That continues on Saturday, scattered showers and thunderstorms, 70s to near 80. Sunday, partly sunny, 83. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their honor flight today at gsl.honorflight.org. And for HVAC services, aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Frey, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ring.
That's us, that's right. Gotta love this American ride.
For the sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Happy Thursday. We are excited to be with you. Fortunately, I didn't have to get up this morning and listen to Fauci say the same dumb thing over and over and over again as we did yesterday. The fallout from the Fauci non-testimony testimony, I think, is really going the way of people not of exposing Anthony Fauci for who a lot of people always thought he was, but a lot of other people are coming on right now and maybe reconsidering this is not the hero that we thought he was. I was going to make the YouTube poll today. Did you trust Anthony Fauci? Because I would have to say at the beginning of the pandemic, I did. I didn't know why not to. I remember when Fauci would come to the podium and, well, I guess at the press briefings, because they would do them every day, Donald Trump would talk. Maybe Pence would talk. But when Donald Trump would talk, I still want to know why. Remember when Anthony Fauci would stand behind him and, like, giggle? Do you remember that?
I remember him and Burke standing back there, but I don't remember giggling.
Trump would say, like, Trump stuff. He would say things, but he would say it in the way that Donald Trump would say things. And you'd see Anthony Fauci, like, trying to swallow a smile. Like, he looked like he was amused by Trump.
Yeah, I think I do remember that.
And it just seemed to me to be bizarre because I was always trying to kind of figure out, and in 2020, how'd you feel about Donald Trump when all of this started? The economy was going great, but we were going into an election year.
Well, I didn't think anything different about Donald Trump because of COVID until...
No, I'm saying right before COVID was a thing.
Okay.
Were we pretty high on Donald Trump at that time?
We were because we were going through the super stupid impeachment that nobody cared about eventually. It was at the end of 2019 that Democrats thought, well, if we impeach the president, that will be the only thing anybody's talking about. And then it didn't matter at all because this came along.
So I think about what can possibly happen here to Anthony Fauci, and I think there is an incredibly tough putt to actually hold him accountable to the extent that the American people want him to be held accountable. I don't think we're going to get the satisfaction with Anthony Fauci in that regard. I also feel very strongly that if we put all of our eggs in the Fauci has to be held accountable basket, that we're going to be letting a lot of people off the hook. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Working in a broadly based, objective view of what took place in 2020, but then what took place in 2021. And I mean, good grief, look at J.B. Pritzker in the state of Illinois. Look what he did. With what information? I mean, he was clinging to Fauciisms well beyond the rest of the United States of America.
Yeah.
So that he could lord his will over the people of the state of Illinois. There are a lot. We have to really think clearly about what our concerns are, what our anger is from, because it's not like Fauci's the only one who can and should be held accountable. It's also not like he is going to be held fully, satisfactorily accountable. That's not going to happen. But the truth can come out. And the truth has been the thing that Fauci, Anthony Fauci is an enemy of truth. What we know now is that Anthony Fauci prioritized Anthony Fauci over everything else throughout the duration of the pandemic, which we've played that November 2019 clip, that pandemic that he so genuinely hoped that he would be able to oversee.
In his own words.
Yes, in an interview where
That's
he's
not
like,
implications.
he'd been in the business for decades, and he's thinking to himself, you know what I'd really like to do? I'd like to lead us through a pandemic. Sorry, I didn't say that on purpose. I'd like to really oversee something like that. And then here we are a couple months later, and the world shuts down. Who else is there anybody else in your mind? Are there other people? You have like a top 5, or just, I want to see these people held to account? Because I have a feeling that a lot of the people who do need to face the music on what we dealt with in COVID, we probably don't know their names and would never recognize them if they were said.
Yeah, it's not names, but whoever was running the CDC, I want to find out why their numbers look so different from the rest of the world's and from independent statistics in 2020 specifically. But again, that's not I don't know that person's name. I just know that when you look at whoever was running some of these agencies, there was a lot of really fishy stuff happening across the board, across all of HHS. I'll put it that way.
Here's a question for you specifically, Ryan, because I know how much you've consistently cared about the election integrity issues of this. The long game, right-wing conspiracy is that a COVID-esque pandemic at the end of 2019, going into 2020, was a tool in reshaping how we do elections in this country. Do you tie those? Where are you at? How confident are you that did or didn't happen, somewhere in between?
Well, you're right. I do like talking about election integrity. I actually don't look at that subject a lot. I do think that they used it in 2020 to make vote by mail as easy as possible. I'm not saying that, but I don't think that was part of the plan or anything. I don't think that was this big conspiracy that they met ahead of time in their robes in Milan and said, this is going to be the plan for 2020. This is how we'll take an election. But, you know, opportunistic, they certainly did it still. So I can't say that.
Josh Hawley was on with us yesterday at 1:45. Check the podcast, the Annie Frey Show podcast, where you get your podcast from. And you can see his immediate reactions to the Fauci testimony. He did say yesterday in his interview with us, because I asked him about the pleading the fifth, and Hans von Spakovsky is going to be with us at the bottom of the hour, a little bit later than traditionally. He's usually here at 12:18. We're going to have him at 12:30 today. But a lot of commentary that I've seen discussed about the Fauci thing is because you plead the fifth because state charges could still be brought. It's my understanding that Florida is investigating that already. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see a state like Missouri, among a few others, get behind that very quickly. But I asked Senator Hawley yesterday, do you plead the fifth because you're pardoned from the federal crimes that the president has jurisdiction over pardoning you from, versus the president can't pardon you from state crimes? So is he not doing and saying things because he doesn't want to get him in trouble from state charges? And in our interview, he kind of said, I think that's just kind of gobbledygook lawyer speak.
Yeah.
He was on Sean Hannity last night, and he changed his tune on it a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
And was like, yeah, the state should do everything they can to go after him.
Huh. Maybe it's something that, hadn't been thought of as much because he's federal,
Yeah. So I think that the questions surrounding the Fifth Amendment plea over and over and over again, and why this is another thing that you're going to hear. You've probably heard it already. If you've talked about this at all, you've probably heard it already. You've probably had someone send you the clip of President Donald Trump invoking his Fifth Amendment rights for some other charges. President Trump didn't have a pardon. President Trump didn't have immunity. I mean, he tried to explain how his presidential immunity would provide him the legal cover he needed to have whatever documents he had in a skiff that was installed in his Mar-a-Lago home. He tried to make the case that he had immunity, but they weren't buying it. They raided his home. So when Dr. Fauci goes in front of a congressional hearing, so it's not a court of law, different. Those are different charges, different circumstances. Anthony Fauci is answering to the American people when he goes in front of the Senate. Donald Trump was going in front of an actual court regarding the things that he had been charged with. And, you know, that's something else that Senator Hawley has said here on this show. He said it again on Hannity. It seems to be a clear message from Hawley himself that you don't pleading the fifth is an indication of guilt. Do you believe that?
Not necessarily, but it depends on the case. And that's why I think comparing cases, I mean, literally any case, not just Trump's, but can you think of any case that is like Dr. Fauci's?
Well, and I mean, going to the Donald Trump thing, you can say that pleading the fifth is an admission of guilt. It is probably in a fair and balanced system. Are there people working day and night to try to come up with ways to put Donald Trump in jail basically from the time that he steps out of office in 2021 until the day he stepped into office when he was reelected? I mean, Donald Trump wasn't fighting a fair fight, and it would be absolutely ridiculous for him to put himself in a position where he could say something, not that hurts him necessarily in the particular case in front of him, but in anything else. That's what I wanted. And, you know, whatever, kudos to Fauci for not taking the bait. But I wanted Josh Hawley yesterday at that hearing, or any of the other senators, but Hawley that's where I would have put my money, to get did you order the code red? And Anthony Fauci can't help it anymore. And he's like, you gosh darn right I did. I wanted that. I wanted Hawley to get under Fauci's thin skin and get Fauci to, like, combust right there in the witness, at the witness desk. And Fauci didn't. But I will say, if you're like a body language person, I read people's body language. I'm always kind of I don't know. You can't look at someone's body language and know what they're thinking, but you can use it as information as to how someone's feeling at any given time. Fauci did not look comfortable. He did not look confident. I don't think Fauci sat there and, you know, looked the people in the eyes. But he sat kind of hunched over with his head kind of forward, and he looked down a lot. I just thought he looked weak and small.
I am going to take a wild guess here and say that his counsel told him to look like that because they wanted to make him look like a victim.
Like he was being attacked.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
And that's the way his whole opening statement sounded, too. But when you saw him read that statement, because he would keep picking that paper up and going, on the advice of counsel, I am going to not. It was shaking. Mm-hmm. It was going like
I thought maybe that was just a vaccine side effect.
I don't know. I don't know.
Just kidding, people. Everybody calm down. You too, Daniel. Relax.
I will say this. Based on the Fifth Amendment question that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
When somebody takes the fifth, you can't just say, oh, they took the fifth, so they're guilty. It entirely depends on the situation and the question. For instance, when the head of the FBI, or was it DOJ? I think it was FBI. When they asked him a couple years ago, hey, did you have federal agents planted in January 6th who were inciting a riot? And he goes, no comment.
Yeah.
That looks super guilty.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go, what about this person associated with your real estate? Well, I'm not going to comment on that. That's a completely different question.
Yeah. We'll take your thoughts on it today. We kind of got an open, free flowing show for you today. But Hans von Spakovsky at 12:30 to give us his constitutional thoughts on what's next for Fauci. We'll be right back. Alrighty, Air Comfort Service, online at aircomfortservice.com. I think Air Comfort Service is responsible for fixing the weather in St. Louis and making it cooler, but that's a claim that I don't know that I'm legally qualified to make. I do know that in the comfort of your home, when it gets too warm inside, in the winter when it gets too cold inside, something's not right. You need somebody to call who can fix the problem and offer you a solution. And in our case, when we had to call Air Comfort Service a few Christmases ago because our furnace was not working, they gave us options. Here's what it takes to fix it. This is what it takes to replace it. And we could make an educated decision based on our budget at the time, our needs for our home. Air Comfort Service was kind. They kind of get that when you have to call the HVAC people, that it's not like the most exciting phone call that you have to make. You know you're going to have to spend money, but you want to make sure, of course, that your hard-earned money is spent intelligently. Air Comfort Service is a great call, 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091. Reach out to them and talk to them about what you're dealing with. Invite them over to check out your system, offer a repair. You'll be glad you did. aircomfortservice.com.
Want to hear a shocking statistic? Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. Don't believe it? Google it. And that doesn't count serious injuries like birth injuries to perfectly healthy children. All doctors wear white jackets, but it doesn't make them all the same. Most medical errors are committed by the same quacks over and over again. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Many hospitals looking for more profits are forcing doctors and their groups to be employees of the hospital or be forced out of their system. It's a troubling trend in medicine. People make mistakes, but medical mistakes are huge and often forever. If you believe your child suffered a birth injury or a misdiagnosis or mistake led to a loved one's death or injury, let our team of medical malpractice lawyers examine your case for free. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC. Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
The Annie Frey Show is St. Louis conservative.
You know, one of the other big questions surrounding the Anthony Fauci pleading the fifth thing is also the actual presence of the pardon in and of itself. Joe Biden gave a lot of pardons out towards the end of his presidency, that there is confirmation that they were approved through email and signed by AutoPen. And it's my recollection that when that revelation, when the AutoPen stuff really started to kind of come out and the emails were showing where the person who was managing the AutoPen, which wasn't Joe Biden, was like, these are good. Go with those. The connection of that AutoPen usage and the validity of the pardons themselves would probably flow through Anthony Fauci. He received a pardon. He was the one most likely to be subpoenaed, to be compelled to testify. And so the questioning of whether those pardons would actually be held up, be considered legitimate without any proof, so to speak, of Joe Biden being a part of it, that those roads would flow through Anthony Fauci. I would never hold my breath on these pardons being undone, because my understanding is that all Joe Biden would have to do is say, yeah, I did that. Like, that's it.
Yeah. Like, his testimony still would matter now concerning those.
Yeah. So let's listen. President Trump spoke yesterday about the whole Biden auto pen pardon system, and listening to him talk about this as an issue, I think, is interesting. But again, President Trump's flexed his executive authority quite a bit. So I don't know that he would want to question something presidential too terribly much, because he currently holds that type of authority.
Well, the only thing you can really think about is the auto pen, because the most powerful thing the president has, they say, is the power of pardon. So he was pardoned by Biden, and I respect that. I know how powerful it is. It's a very powerful, they say it's literally the most powerful thing a president has. Now, whether or not I sign my things directly, always, almost everything I sign directly. You're witness to many of them. He signed very few. The only thing I know that he signed was Hunter Biden's pardon, but I'm not sure that he signed, he probably didn't sign this one. So I can't tell you what the law is. I've heard that you have to have a lot of proof. You need to have letters. You need to have all sorts of things, that the person operating the auto pen has to know exactly what it's all about. He didn't know what it was about, because I saw him testify. So maybe there's something on the auto pen. Other than that, the power of pardon is very powerful.
So he kind of coincides with what I was just saying there, saying, listen, if we're going to try to undo these pardons, that's such a steep hill to climb with not much reward at the top, I don't think.
You could, let's say you had something really valid that you could say, look, we know that this pardon right here was false, or that he didn't know about it. Because there's a lot of evidence to that. Let's say they really hone in on one. I would love, though, to see them bring maybe Biden in if they can. I don't know about the presidential privilege thing, but if they could bring him in for questioning and just ask him basic questions.
Bring who in?
Biden.
Yeah.
Ask him basic questions just like they did with Fauci. Hey, what color is the sky today? What day is it?
Have you heard the Biden tapes from the 20? Have you listened to any of the 2017 tapes that were scooped up in that her testimony, the ones that resulted in him being a well-intentioned elderly man?
I think at the time I heard some of them. I haven't listened recently.
Yeah, they've just released a whole bunch of them.
Oh, have they?
And these tapes were taken in 2017.
Bad.
Like, spend time with your dad, take care of him, help him enjoy things. Like the way he kind of, everybody knows what it's like to talk to somebody who's starting to mentally decline a little bit. That doesn't mean their health is necessarily bad, but their mental health or their mental, strength is not what it used to be. I mean, it's present in spades in those tapes again in 2017.
I have heard these.
And here's the thing, I want Fauci to be held accountable. I really want that. If there was anything I could do to help make that happen, I would be game for the extra effort on my personal part to make that happen. It's not going to be the case. But it's another huge piece of evidence that there is a deep state is the politically charged way of explaining it, but that there is a cooperation of people who understand the bureaucracy of Washington, D.C., and its inseparable nature with that bureaucracy and the ability to contain, retain, and grow power. And the fact that Joe Biden could become the Democrat nominee, especially watching the primary process unfold as we had in the 2020 primary season, how it was not Joe Biden, and then it just was Joe Biden. Like, how did that happen? You just know that he had no business being there, and that they would have had to know that so that they could plan for it. The amount of Oppo research that takes place on any candidate at any given time is so deep and intrusive on any one person's life. Like, you can't have, as a candidate, any secrets from your super inner core, because any secret or even perceived secret that you have to have an understanding of how you're going to handle it if it gets out. You hope it doesn't, but it probably does. So you have to know, if this comes out, how are you going to manage it? How are you going to get ahead of it? Joe Biden wasn't talking to anybody who couldn't tell that he was mentally declining in 2017.
No, but he was the Obama VP. And my guess is that the power brokers looked at him and thought, he'll be Obama term 3. And that's all they cared about.
But that's my point, Ryan, is that the Obama brokers, so we're talking about the bureaucrats, the people who helped make the Obama presidency and wanted to continue it outside of his ability to be limited to 2 terms, where the American people get to step in and have a say once again. The bureaucracy from the Obama presidency continued, and it chose Joe Biden. Yes. And it chose Joe Biden in the midst of all common sense. Any American would go, well, he's not up for the job. But he didn't have to be up for the job because the system is.
Exactly.
And then they went even further. They're like, we got away with Biden. Let's try Kamala. And America was like, enough. Absolutely enough. And now the Democrat Party, when maybe not so manipulated by the powers that be in the bureaucracy, maybe they don't have the levers of power anymore. When the Democrat Party is allowed to do what the Democrat Party wants to do, they're like, how about socialism? The system is in place to keep a status quo, and the status quo is not a reflection of we the people. That's for certain. Hans von Spakovsky joins us here in just a minute. We're going to talk to him about the 111. Now I'm hearing 112 times. Maybe he did so one more time on the way out the door. And they're like, put it on the board. I still plead the fifth. Fauci, how come he's pleading the fifth if he's got immunity, if he's got a pardon? Hans von Spakovsky answers that question on the Annie Frey Show next. So Todd Sivia of SiviaLaw.com, both sides of the river. He's happy to serve you in your estate planning needs. You're looking to get a will established. Now, I think that's kind of how most people think about this part of your life. Got to get the will done. The truth of the matter is, there are a lot more questions that you're going to want to answer. There's a lot of reasons to do more than a will. You need powers of attorney. Something happens to you. Something happens to your spouse. Who makes the medical decisions? Okay, here's another one, and I hate to think about this, but it is an important thing for you to think about so that you can be there in the moment. If you've got a child who's going off to college, and they're going to be away, maybe a couple hours away, maybe a time zone away, if something happens to them, you need to make sure that they, as adults, have you as a power of attorney so that you can be on the phone, get the medical information, all of that, so that you can be a part of that conversation. It's really important. Get those powers of attorney established. Get the will established. Avoid probate, which is going to cost you a ton in time and money, both things that you don't need to do. If you mention Annie when you call 833-995-WILL, that's 833-995-WILL, you're going to get your first strategy session free if you're one of the first 10 callers right now. In Missouri and Illinois, Civia Law, 833-995-WILL, CiviaLaw.com.
Bill, you're an old politician.
Yup, sure am.
So you know the old timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig in a poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your Politicians Amendment 5 is a pig in a poke, allowing politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people. And the Politicians Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside Forward 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, allowing a minority of the most liberal statewide voters in one district to effectively end our power to stop corruption and out-of-control spending and taxing.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom. 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the Politicians Amendments 4 and 5, paid for by Missourians for fair governance.
Travis Wilson here, State Representative from District 106 in St. Charles, Missouri's first state capital. I wanted to remind everyone that we have a crucial primary election coming up on Tuesday, August 4th. No excuse, in-person voting has already begun, and I'd appreciate your vote to continue my service for the great people of St. Charles. For more information on early voting or to learn more about me and the important issues facing Missouri, visit me on Facebook at Wilson for St. Charles. Thank you, and may God continue to bless the state of Missouri.
Paid for by Wilson for St. Charles. Merle Schneider, Treasurer.
Every kid deserves a chance to play and a chance to thrive. For nearly 30 years, Cardinals Care has been helping make that possible through Redbird Rookies, Cardinals Nike RBI, youth ball fields, and grants that support local children. From July 24th through July 30th, you can help continue that mission by supporting the Caring for Kids campaign. Bid on exclusive Cardinals experiences, purchase 50/50 raffle tickets, enter the Caring for Kids sweepstakes, or make a donation. Learn more at cardinals.com/caringforkids.
We always do a YouTube live chat poll every day, as you know, but this is like a poll on an issue that's happening right now, on a real thing you can vote on. Are you voting yes on Amendment 5 to eliminate Missouri income tax? Let us know in today's YouTube live chat poll. It'll be our poll of the vote. That's if we know, then you'll know. 12:34. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Celebrating 250 years of freedom and 25 years of 97.1 FM Talk in St. Louis.
Well, if I become a punching bag, I'm a punching bag, but I am very happy to testify before any congressional oversight committee. I have nothing to hide. I can explain and validate everything that I've done. So, it's going to be inconvenient if they actually are out there essentially threatening to make my life miserable, but I'm going to do what I need to do, and that is cooperate fully because we have nothing to hide at all.
The only victim of COVID-19 that Anthony Fauci seems to identify is himself. Anthony Fauci saying, I think that was in 2022. I don't have the exact year on that, but that was obviously before yesterday. He's saying, I got nothing to hide. I'll explain everything. It's going to be inconvenient if they want to attack me this way, but I got nothing to hide. Open book. I can explain everything we did. And then he got the opportunity. And 112 times, Anthony Fauci says, I plead the fifth. He had a pardon. How come he can plead the fifth? Let's ask Hans von Spakovsky, Advancing American Freedom Senior Legal Fellow, former FEC Commissioner, and DOJ lawyer, on X at H. von Spakovsky. Hans, welcome to the show. Did you get to watch that display yesterday from Anthony Fauci at that Senate hearing?
Boy, it was quite something, wasn't it? And, what's so interesting about it is, I actually pulled up the pardon that was signed by Joe Biden. Well, either him or his auto pen. And it's a very broad pardon. And it covers the period of 2014 through the day of the pardon, which was issued the day before the inauguration of Donald Trump. So if he's being asked questions about what occurred during that time period, he has no valid excuse for claiming the Fifth Amendment because he can't be criminally prosecuted by the federal government for anything he did during that period of time. As you know, however, he did plead the Fifth. He could be prosecuted if he lies during that testimony, because obviously the pardon doesn't cover that. But just because you don't want to answer a question, that is not a valid reason for asserting the Fifth Amendment. And as you know, Senator Paul has said he's going to hold him in contempt, get him held in contempt.
Yeah, I think, they said before that hearing was over that they've already scheduled the vote to hold him in contempt for next week. We're speaking with Hans von Spakovsky right now. Is contempt a slap on the wrist? Are there any actual consequences that come from his performance yesterday where he pled the Fifth over and over and over again? And also, will there be a bipartisan need to hold him in contempt in order for that to actually go through?
Well, the Democrats clearly are going to vote against it, but hopefully all the Republicans will vote in favor. There's actually a federal statute on this. And if you remember Lois Lerner,
Yes, IRS
official who was targeting all the conservative organizations and did the same thing, took the Fifth Amendment, refused to answer questions. She was held in contempt. And what happens under that federal law is Congress sends the formal contempt vote over to the U.S. Department of Justice, and the U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia, because that's where the contempt occurred, is supposed to take that contempt citation before a federal grand jury so that the person can be prosecuted. And the potential punishment is a $1,000 fine and between 1 month and a year in jail. So, yeah, there are potential consequences, but it will depend on two things. One, can they get the vote to hold him in contempt? And two, will the Justice Department enforce the contempt citation in court? You may recall that with Lois Lerner, the Obama Justice Department refused to enforce the contempt citation.
Hans von Spakovsky speaking with us right now. A lot of people are questioning or maybe explaining the repeated Fifth Amendment claims by Fauci yesterday, saying that while he has been pardoned from federal crimes during that period of time, that he is not immune to state charges that could potentially be brought. Is there any accuracy to that? Hans, can you hear us okay? I think we lost Hans there. Let's see if we can reconnect with him here in just a minute. I am interested in that element of the pardon specifically, because if he goes in front of, this is one of the things regarding the conviction that Donald Trump did in fact receive in New York, that there were questions like, can he pardon himself from his conviction in New York? And the truth of the matter is it's a state crime. So it would have to go to Governor Hochul, of course, of New York to pardon him or offer him clemency or whatever it might be. And of course, that wasn't going to happen. But the difference between the federal courts and the state courts is significant. And if there were instances where potentially something could be brought a charge against Anthony Fauci in a state court, like with the Attorney General Catherine Hanaway here in the state of Missouri, because there were crimes committed against Missourians, maybe his testimony there yesterday could have implicated him in those types of crimes. We got Hans von Spakovsky back here on the show with us. Hans, that's some kind of question to you is, was there any risk in his testimony being open and free and clear under the umbrella of that Biden pardon, where things that he said could potentially implicate him, bring charges from any of the states in our union?
Yeah, it's important for people to remember that a federal pardon by the president only pardons you and prevents federal prosecutions. It doesn't in any way prevent a state prosecution.
Well, if I become a punching bag, I'm a punching bag. But if I become a punching bag.
Sorry about that. We got a lot of technical issues happening here.
The problem with a state prosecution is it is extremely difficult for states to prosecute a federal official who is acting within the scope of his duties. And in any kind of criminal prosecution by a state government, Fauci would obviously be claiming that, look, everything I did as an official of the federal government, all within the scope of my duties with the National Institute of Health. So state prosecutions are extremely difficult. Like I said, the thing he could be prosecuted for is lying under oath before that hearing. But look, you and I both know the reason he took the Fifth Amendment, because his diaries have come out. And his diaries show that during the entire COVID pandemic, he was lying. He was lying to the public, lying to Congress about it, and he doesn't want to have to admit that. I mean, the question I would be asking him if I was a senator is, well, are you lying now or were you lying then?
Yeah, exactly. It's the lie has already occurred. The question is just confirm which one was truth, and it's like two truths and a lie, but with the nation's health and public safety. Hans, one other question that I did have for you regarding the auto pen question. I remember when the emails were revealed that showed that a lot of these pardons were maybe done through email, not directly with the president of the United States. He signed but one of those pardons, and it was his son's pardon. So he seemed to have a mental awareness that that pardon was going to happen, but there are quite a few other ones that did get the auto pen treatment from Joe Biden. It seems as though, we played a clip from President Trump a little bit earlier talking about that presidential pardon power is pretty significant. It's pretty powerful. Is it even worth the time and the effort to explore the validity of the auto pen pardons that came from Joe Biden?
No, for two reasons. One, there's no way that any of the White House aides, the people who worked in the White House, worked for Biden, who were involved in this, you and I both know that none of them would ever testify truthfully that Biden didn't know what he was doing when it came to these pardons. And no federal judge is going to want to get into a case in which he or she is being directed to make a judgment on whether the former president of the United States was mentally capable at the time he either signed the pardon or directed folks to have it signed with his auto pen. I mean, there's just no federal judge that's going to be willing to accept a case like that.
Yeah, seems like maybe an attempt to make a lot of political hay that's not going to materialize in anything really measurable. Hans, before we go, I just want to give you the opportunity here. You watched the Fauci testimony yesterday. It was abysmal. I just wonder if Americans are looking for accountability, the lies, the deception that was presented maybe willfully or maybe ignorantly, but absolutely arrogantly to the American people amidst the COVID 2020 years and then those that followed. Is there accountability waiting in any wing area, or do we just have to look and reflect on history and say we're just not going to allow this to happen again?
I'm afraid it's the latter. I don't think there's any way to criminally prosecute him for what he did. And if anything, those diaries show that he is an arrogant charlatan, and that's the way he should be remembered in history.
When you say that Anthony Fauci was an arrogant charlatan, that shows how classy you are, because arrogant could have been followed by a lot of words. But Hans von Spakovsky says charlatan, and I will take note and do the same in the future. Try to replicate your class in that assessment. Hans von Spakovsky, you're always a pleasure to have on the show. Thank you for being with us again today.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. Bye-bye. Fauci is an arrogant, and then fill in the blank. That could be our YouTube poll for Friday, maybe. How would you fill in that blank? We'll all give you our suggestion, and then you can offer your own. The YouTube poll for today actually is asking you about that Tuesday election coming up here in the state of Missouri. And we had Mark and Mark in the studio with us yesterday. And while they were in here, they were talking about Amendment 4 and Amendment 5, among other things, for those primary voters. And they said voting is open right now. So get to the polls, vote on our YouTube live chat poll. Are you voting yes on Amendment 5 to eliminate Missouri income tax? You're voting yes on 5. You're voting no on 5. You're a Missouri voter, but you're not voting, or you live outside of Missouri. YouTube.com/@AnnieFrey. We'll be right back.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands, or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening Screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
The radical left let crime and drugs pour into our nation, and they let biological men into girls' sports. But here in Missouri, if there's a problem, we fix it. That's why Ann Wagner's fixing the mess the radical left made and delivering for us. Wagner voted to ban biological men from competing in girls' sports, and she voted to fund the police and provide more resources for Border Patrol agents, keeping our families, communities, and children safe. And Ann Wagner didn't stop there. In Congress, Wagner passed the largest working-class tax cut in American history, kept big government out of our business, protected our way of life, and ensured our communities remain safe. That's why Ann Wagner's endorsed by the Missouri Farm Bureau and Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Ann Wagner for Congress on August 4th.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No pain, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. The president was just speaking from the White House about this new initiative that the Department of Transportation is releasing. This is something I think about quite a lot. It hasn't been a main story here in the news for a while, but the amount of people driving trucks on the highway that can't read or speak English.
Yeah, well, that was a story briefly, but it's still an issue.
I mean, I'm just saying it was a big story because people were getting plowed on the streets because these people were driving these vehicles and they don't know the rules of the road. They can't read signs. How do you not know signs?
How do you pass a driver's test and not know yield and stop?
Well, I mean...
Well, I guess even, the exits and stuff, because they'll get lost. That's another big issue.
The one in Missouri, which was filmed by somebody who, we know people who know people who filmed it. That one trucker was for miles driving down the wrong side of the highway.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's crazy.
Freedom haulers.
How do you not just figure out that you're on the wrong side of the highway, even if you're not familiar with the laws? Like, everybody's going the other way.
There's at least a little bit of a crack in the door that asks you if it's malicious.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe some people are just stupid. Freedom Haulers is a new initiative by the Transportation Department. And the president was speaking at the White House in the last 30 minutes or so on this with Secretary Duffy there. A new era of American trucking. If the truck stops, America stops. Keeping our farmers in business, our store shelves stocked, our gas stations full, and our supply chain secure is an essential mission. This isn't a desk job. It requires the precision, independence, and level-headed mindset that you forged in the military. We want veterans to take the wheel of big rigs and secure the economic supply lines of the country you swore to defend. They are making a huge push to bring veterans into the industry of trucking because, I'm asking myself, if we remove the foreigners who can't read English from the truck driver workforce, how big is this contingency of the people driving trucks? Like, does the nation stop functioning because we've pulled out 25% of our truckers because they're not from here and it's the job that they could get?
Yeah, it's Pandora's box.
I got a lot of questions. And I'm still like, just think that maybe you should understand the rules of the road and be in compliance with the general laws that we have in this country in order to drive those trucks.
You know what I love is anytime we talk about this issue, we're on middays. It's almost 1 o'clock. We have a lot of people listening to us who are truckers.
I love our truckers. 314-241-9797. We need a truck. Well, you can't. I'm sure they have ways to text while they're driving.
Yeah.
Safely. But we need like a toot toot or something. We need to be able to call out for the toot toot from our truckers that are listening.
Yes.
And
we need
text us.
some sort of special honk. That if you could text in what that honk is, like if you text in honk, 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 honk.
It's Morse code.
Then I go, oh, okay, that's the special one. Okay, we'll listen for that.
The Freedom Haulers This is funny. The website is freedomhaulers.dot.gov, but that actually says freedomhaulers.gov.
That's the government for you.
Freedomhaulers.gov. It's like
it's an ellipses.
It's reluctantly government.
Well, I mean, yes, we're the Freedom Haulers, but
yeah, I know we're trying to be like pro America, but government's going to be involved a little bit here. The website is encouraging veterans to sign up to become truckers, and they are trying to put the full force of their abilities to make it attractive to these veterans to get in a truck and help keep the country running. Up to 100% tuition coverage for approved CDL programs, $70,000 average annual earnings for truckers under President Trump. 25% of military veterans are truckers, and they have a metric of 7.42% increase in annual earnings under President Trump. So they're trying to make the case that Trump is for the truckers, and probably that the truckers are for Trump as well. This Freedom Haulers program here says they're making it easier than ever for veterans to build a thriving career in American trucking. We're supercharging the pipeline by streamlining the licensing pathways and improving access to apprenticeship programs, and calling on our partners to bolster their veteran hiring numbers. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, if you're a veteran and driving a truck sounds like, okay, I might give that a shot. It's definitely worth looking into this new program, freedomhaulers.gov. But the middle dot you got to spell.
we just got a text that says honk honk Steve.
Honk honk Steve.
So if
just give us a honk honk and a name.
Yeah,
don't
honk
even care
honk
if
and
it's
a
yours.
name, and if you're able to make your horn sound like your name, like you Steve, that'd be awesome.
Honk honk Steve. Honk honk Annie.
You know what? Real quick, I know we got like 10 seconds, but the truckers were one of the reasons that we got out of COVID. Specifically in Canada, if you remember, the truckers fought against the Canadian government with
losers.
Everything they had.
Yeah, they were like,
they were awesome.
Yeah. That's like super American. Way to go, guys. Eh?
Yeah. Honk honk Steve.
Honk honk Steve. 314-241-9797. Give us a honk honk if you know what I mean. Not that. I said if you know what I mean, not you, Ryan. Jim Talent, somehow, we're going to transition to him out of this hour here. Just got done talking to Hans von Spakovsky about the Fauci fifth. Jim Talent, what in the world is going on in Iran? We'll find out next.
they all light up.
To call 911 and then 411, 1-800-411-PAIN.
But you may not know behind the number is an experienced law firm with nearly 100 attorneys working hard for our clients.
Call the PAIN guys at 1-800-411-PAIN.
Law offices of Cantor and Pentalluga, Kyle Conhauser, Esquire. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Offices throughout the U.S. Not all lawyers licensed in all jurisdictions.
The 2027 models are arriving, and that means huge savings during the 2026 closeout sale at Apache Village RV. Right now, every remaining 2026 RV is priced to sell, including popular models from Jayco, Forest River, and Keystone. Whether you're looking for a travel trailer, fifth wheel, or motorhome, now is your chance to score a great deal before these models are gone. Don't miss your opportunity to save thousands and get road trip ready for your next adventure. The 2026 inventory won't last long. Shop the closeout sale today at both locations in Hazelwood and AVRV in O'Fallon or ApacheVillageRV.com.
You know Zero Res, the zero residue carpet cleaner that leaves your carpets truly clean with no dirt attracting soaps or harsh chemicals. Don't risk it with the other guys and skip the DIY disasters that leave your carpet soaked for days. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet zero resified starting at just $129. Call 314-474-2020 or visit ZeroResSTL.com and ask for the 97.1 special.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Strikes and counterstrikes. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Jordan intercepting more missiles after U.S. strikes on Iran last night.
CENTCOM describing those attacks as a heavy wave. They hit a number of targets, dozens of command and control centers that belong to the Revolutionary Guard.
Fox's Steve Harrigan in Tel Aviv. Those strikes are a response to missiles fired the previous night at U.S. forces in Jordan. The White House not confirming a Wall Street Journal report that the president is considering a plan for a bigger operation against Iran, among other options. Migrants storm the border in Spain, prompting calls to declare a national emergency.
Spain may be in Europe, but it has a land border in Africa. Thousands of people have crossed from Morocco into the Spanish territory, Ceuta. Local officials say it's absolute chaos. Footage shows people, mainly young Moroccan men, walking round breakwaters to access the city. Civil Guard officers say thousands have crossed, with the border having totally collapsed. The head of Ceuta's regional government wants to see a national emergency declared and police and soldiers sent in.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Spain's Interior Ministry says it's working with the Moroccan government. A White House spokesperson just telling Fox President Trump has long warned Europe what would happen if they continue to implement far-left globalist policies, including enabling mass migration, calling it a destructive philosophy. A father just sentenced in Georgia to 15 years in prison for giving his son the gun used in a deadly school shooting and failing to address the boy's deteriorating mental health.
The warning lights were flashing brighter and brighter, and you didn't get him help, and you didn't remove his access to the guns.
Barrow County Superior Court Judge Nicholas Prim sentencing Colin Gray days after sending his 16-year-old son Colt to prison for life. Colt was 14 when he killed 4 people at his high school. America is listening to Fox News.
When I hit my 50s, I felt like things were slowing down.
This is Sandra's Metamucil story.
I started taking Metamucil for digestion, but had no idea it would impact so much more. Not only did Metamucil help me feel more regular, but my heart health saw the benefits too.
Metamucil, one simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to metamucil.com for more details.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Keeping the great weather going as we go through our Thursday afternoon. Sunny, nice, 85 for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, 69. Friday, scattered showers and a couple of non-severe thunderstorms. Focus on the afternoon, 85. That continues on Saturday, scattered showers and thunderstorms, 70s to near 80. Sunday, partly sunny, 83. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Bryant.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Not sure if you should repair or replace an aging air conditioner? Check out the free repair or replace tool from Air Comfort Service. Visit aircomfortservice.com/repair or replace.
Annie Frey, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ring.
That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Say, Beth, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
President Trump warned Iran would get a beating. U.S. forces launched heavy strikes against the regime. Dozens of targets were hit, including IRGC military command centers, missile and drone launching positions, and the remaining maritime capabilities belonging to Iran. Now, U.S. Central Command released a statement saying CENTCOM forces successfully completed a heavy wave of strikes against Iran in response to yesterday's attempted missile attacks on U.S. forces. The strikes aim to further diminish threats posed by Iran and its proxies to American forces, commercial shipping, and neighboring Gulf countries. Earlier in the day, President Trump told Fox News, "We are going to beat the effing S out of them," after the Iranians launched that surprise missile attack on U.S. forces in Jordan. The president later spoke from the Oval Office, saying this.
We're going to hit them very hard. I mean, I can actually say that because in that, there's very little they can do about it. It was a different group than we're dealing with. They've already apologized. But, you know, we got to smack them a little bit.
Mr. President, you always get hit back when they strike?
Will I always hit back?
Yes.
Pretty much.
President Trump speaking yesterday from the White House, and it does seem as though there's an escalation in the conflict with Iran. I will add here, in the last couple hours, Fox News has reported that comment that you heard yesterday as well. The Fox News tweet was, or X post was, President Trump reacts to reports that China may supply Iran with hundreds of rocket launchers despite direct assurances from Chinese President Xi Jinping. President Trump said, that would be surprising. I mean, things like that happen, but that would be surprising. China is now pushing back on that. According to a recent Fox News report, Chinese Foreign Ministry on Thursday disputed a report from Reuters that Beijing is preparing to help Iran replenish its defenses in the war against the United States, with a spokesperson claiming that China wants to bring an end to the conflict. Let's get to the common sense of the day. Jim Talent, former United States Senator from Missouri, former Congressman and Chairman of the Reagan Institute's National Leadership Council. Senator, thank you for being with us again today. It's good to have you back.
Good to be here. And I used to run a campaign of two as a common sense conservative, so I take that as high praise.
Well,
thank you.
That's definitely how you were recognized here from our many listeners on the Annie Frey Show. I'm excited to talk to you about this point in this conflict. President Trump seems to have moved away from the idea of diplomacy only and to flex the military force of the United States once again. But I've said this with you before. I'm always paying attention to other countries that might say, okay, we'll lend Iran some support here. That would not be good for the United States of America. The suggestion was made that China was doing that. They have now pushed back. Just wondered about your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think that the Chinese have helped some in the past. I would be mildly surprised if they were doing anything like sending interceptors or sending, drones, or it was handheld stuff, I think. Because I think the Chinese, like most of the world and certainly the region, are ready to move on from the era of the past where Iran was a major regional player, because their power to do that has been effectively shattered, both militarily and also economically. I mean, their currency is basically worthless. I won't go through everything. So my guess is that the Chinese are reevaluating, both in terms of their energy supply chains and also their relationships in the region. And I would be surprised they would do anything like that. Now, one of the things you always have to ask, this being Washington, did our intelligence community have some sense that they might do that and then leak this story in order to get out of the Chinese foreign ministry exactly what they said, which is, no, we're not doing that. So, I don't know. It wouldn't shock me, but it would surprise me if they really had those plans.
How often, Senator Talent, is what China is saying, what Russia is saying, what any of these countries, Iran for sure, how often do these countries that are adversaries of the United States say things publicly and do things differently in action?
Whenever they want to, which is very frequent. It's not like they're dedicated to the truth. So when you always have to ask yourself, as they see their interests and their objectives, what are they trying to do in this situation? And if what they're saying is consistent with that, then you can place some credence into it. That's why I'm saying, regardless of what they say, Iran is it's a horse that can't run anymore. It's a kite that won't fly, a dog that won't hunt. I mean, how many Missouri metaphors do I want to come up with here?
Those are good.
And so, and it's not like the Chinese are committed on any. They don't care about the ideology involved or anything like that. They don't really form alliances. They think of other countries in terms of how they could use them. And so I don't see any logic in them doing that. I mean, they want good relationships going forward with the countries that are still providing oil, the regimes that are likely to be there in a few years. So they're going to want to go with the Gulf states. And since Iran is attacking the Gulf states, I doubt they would take that risk. Now, Russia is a little bit different, and because, Putin is in real trouble. He, I think, genuinely and personally just hates the United States. And so it's possible he's doing everything he can to help Iran. There isn't a lot of that he can do because, of course, his capabilities have just been chewed up on the battlefield with the Ukrainians.
Senator Jim Talent speaking with us at this point. In the week, it just seems like the roller coaster ride of this conflict. I don't know when it ends, and just when I think that we've achieved the final big drop, there seems to be more. Fox News reports regarding last night's attacks. The United States resumed airstrikes inside Iran Wednesday night in retaliation for Tehran's attempted surprise ballistic missile attack on American forces, as an Iran expert warned that the regime has become increasingly willing to test Washington despite its weakened military capabilities. So if they have weakened military capabilities, but also a weakened level of common sense, maybe they squeeze every drop out of what they've got left. How do you gauge their willingness to be a little extra crazy right now, even though we have diminished many of their capacities?
Extra crazy would be hard for them. So assuming they grasp the strategic situation, which is what I said before, in other words, their capabilities as a nation state, their ability to dominate the region, to pursue the strategy they pursued for the last 20 years is gone. They're essentially, from a capability standpoint, at the level of a subnational movement like the Houthis. So they can threaten coastal shipping, they can execute their own people, and they're doing that. They can threaten assassination plots, and they can do that sort of thing. So from their perspective, they need to get revenue out of the strait in order to keep the regime secure, to make it secure, and then from their perspective, hope to be able to rebuild. And I think what is probably going on within the regime is an argument, is not between moderates and hardliners, they're all hardliners, but between the hardliners who are saying, look, Trump will probably let us sell oil if we keep the strait, if we stop threatening the strait. right now, we just got to stay in power. We got to be able to pay our people. You know, we got to make certain thugs stay on our side. Let's take that deal in the short term and then see how things develop, see if we can figure out something down the road. And then you're going to have the others who are saying, no, we can't accept this situation. We have to attack and force them to give us, $300 billion that was mentioned in this MOU, and we never had any intention of giving them. I don't know if I've said it on the show, but the whole MOU experience I thought was very enlightening, because it was probably the first time the Iranians have dealt with an American president. I want to choose the right words here. Who was in certain respects as unscrupulous as they are. I mean, look, we never promised to give them this stuff. We said we'd talk about it. They probably figured, they'll do it. And so they allowed the Strait to open up, and they basically got nothing. And no assets unfrozen. They got no rebuilding fund. They were allowed to sell oil, but nobody wanted to buy it except the Chinese at a discount. Mm-hmm. And even they've gone off it now. So from their position, this is the only leverage they got left, and they need money. I mean, the rial is $2 million to $1 now. I mean, 2 million rials to $1. I mean, essentially, it's worthless. Yeah. They must be operating a barter economy, or the people who can get a hold of foreign exchange of some kind, foreign currency of some kind. That has to be how it's operating. I mean, the currency's worthless.
It seems like all eyes and attention are on the shiny object, which is obviously a crazed Iranian government structure that is, probably even hard to pin down because we've decimated it so much. That's where all the attention is. That's where maybe the best politics domestically are made. But you've brought this up many times, as have other experts who've been on our show. The remaking of the Middle East economically through alliances among these other countries that maybe are unlikely partners, but the friend of my the enemy of my friend of my enemy is my friend. I don't remember how to say it, but
I think it's the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, there are partnerships being forged in the Middle East because of this conflict that maybe it takes a little longer for Iran to peter out because they don't ever gain any common sense and they fight to the last death and they don't care about that. It seems as though the consequence of President Trump's actions here are much larger than his stated goal of no nuclear weapons with Iran.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes, clear regional objectives. And the path is open for that now. The new kind of equilibrium is what I call it. It's not as good as your realignment term, but that's what I use. And it's where, an American-led equilibrium is backed up mostly by Israeli military power and then by the joint economic ambitions and power of the Gulf states, Egypt, Jordan, Israel, probably Syria is getting pulled into this now. And then when the Israelis deal with Hezbollah, then Lebanon will join. So I think, we're speculating now, but if you're what's left of this Iranian leadership, and for 25 years, at least, since the fall of Saddam Hussein, you've been respected in the region, hated and feared, but respected. And now you're in this position. It's very difficult for them. And I don't mean to sound like I'm sympathetic to these killers, but it's difficult for them. Now, from our perspective, I think it's pretty clear what the president wants is to get the Strait open and the oil flowing, because he knows that the energy supply chains are rearranging themselves as we speak. And within a short period of time, it's really not going to matter as much. I think we've already made up between the increased pipeline flow and the oil that is moving, and ships are moving through the Strait, probably made up about half of what was originally lost in terms of oil supply. So whether the Iranians are in a position to see all this, whether they can accept it, whether people are willing to report bad news to them, I don't know. I mean, normally I wouldn't say this because I never liked these intel briefings and all this stuff, but I really would. It would be interesting to get a top secret briefing now and to see the assessments of our best people. It doesn't mean you can necessarily rely on it, but as to what's going on in Iran. If anybody would know, it's the Israelis, and I'm sure that Netanyahu and Trump talked about it a lot.
Well, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's something that the president feels like he's got a deadline. He's got to wrap this up come hell or high water. He seems very clear-eyed on a goal. Do you expect the midterm election, we're within 100 days before that happens, do you expect that to influence how he makes decisions here moving forward?
Yeah, but I don't think he'll ever admit it. In other words, again, if you're Trump, even if you have a deadline in mind, you're never going to let that leak.
Yeah.
When Trump talks about a deadline, he's doing it. I mean, he's given deadlines, but he's doing it for other purposes. He's never going to admit a weakness or admit that they have some leverage over him. But that's why they have leverage, is because of the political context with Trump and Netanyahu. But that can also bounce back on them, because the other way the president can play that is to say, okay, then I have to produce something everybody recognizes as a victory before the election, which means I'm going to pound, and I'm not going to use the president's exact words because it's a family show. But
Thank you.
I've got to pound the stuffing out of him. He's punishing them. These are punitive campaigns. He's punishing. We are punishing them through the blockade, and he's holding in reserve, hitting the refineries, hitting the really vital economic infrastructure, and also unleashing the Israelis. See, they showed the weakness there because they haven't attacked Israel, have they?
Yeah.
And what that tells you is they're afraid of the Israelis. This is a reality people in the Middle East have awakened to. The kids at Columbia haven't yet, which is militarily, Israel's the hegemon of this region. Everybody's afraid of Israel, to include Hamas. Hamas is about to get disarmed if they don't disarm, and it's the Israelis that are going to do it.
Well,
if you look at what's happened in the region, I mean, Syria is now basically an ally or a country we can work with. Lebanon has got an agreement with Israel and has recognized the leadership of the United States in defeating Hezbollah. Hamas has lost 2/3 of its territory and is under enormous pressure to disarm, and we're closing that trap on them, saying, look, we're tired of waiting, you're going to have to do it. The Saudis are back to attacking Yemen again. We've got a nuclear deal with the Saudis. The UAE is everything but a formal treaty ally. You see how the region is realigning.
Significantly. Yeah. And I would think generationally impactfully so as well, that even if Iran decides to, go down to the last man standing, that if they were to come to an agreement, I don't know what there's going to be on the other side of that's left for them if the world has learned how to function outside of and around them.
Yeah, and to your listeners who are sick of the Middle East, and I am too, you know what I mean? It's because we have interest there, and we've seen that with what's happening in the Strait, right? We're not going to be able to ignore it, but it's going to be a series of fairly local issues that we have to manage, in my opinion. So, for example, what roles do the Turks want to play? When you think about this potential F-35 purchase, you have to, but I do think we're going to be able to draw down our military posture there once this whole episode here is finished, which will be very good. And I think our leadership will be economic and diplomatic. We're going to still have some forces in the region, and we want to, because we want to maintain a presence. It's a signal of American power. But I think it's going to be an issue of managing a lot of problems instead of worrying every day about whether Iran is going to break out and get a nuclear weapon.
Well, it's taken a brave man with a clear goal to do that, and it seems as though President Trump has a pretty good understanding of his goal here and is willing to pursue it, even amidst the politics. We'll see how those midterm elections end up impacting
We'll see what
his
happens,
decision.
yeah.
That's right. We'll invite you along the way with us the entire time. We're always so grateful that you spend some time with us in the afternoon, Senator Talent. Thank you.
It's always fun, Annie. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Senator Jim Talent, former United States Senator from Missouri and Congressman, chairman of the Reagan Institute's National Leadership Council. Let's take a quick break here. Wiggins coming back in studio here in just a minute. The YouTube live chat poll vote, and I'd love your feedback on this. As an Illinois voter, I want to give you the platform to talk about the primary election next Tuesday. Yesterday, we had Mark Cox and Mark Reardon on the show. That's a great podcast for you to go check out if you didn't get to hear it. It's like 3 segments of Mark and Mark. We're asking you today, are you voting yes on Amendment 5 to eliminate Missouri income tax? We'll be right back.
70 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Trisha Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Trisha Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the suicide prevention hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Trisha Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, end quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Trisha Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job.
Let's Go Brandon PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Chris Foss, Treasurer.
Most sellers put their home on the market and just wait to see what happens. Hey, it's Mark Cox, and I'm with Gloria Liu, your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria, is there a better way to sell?
There is. Instead of listing your home the traditional way and hoping for the right buyer, I can get you up to 8 competitive cash offers right from the start. That means you're not guessing what your home might sell for. You're looking at the real offers and choosing the one that works the best for you. It also helps you to set the right price and create stronger demand if you decide to go to market. It gives you control, leverage, and a clear path forward before you accept just any offer. And remember, I'll guarantee to sell your home at 100% of the market value, or I'll pay you the difference.
Before you sell your home, see what your options are. Call the one I trust, Gloria Liu, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC. Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Annie Frey is St. Louis conservative.
I'm going to ask you a question, Ryan, and you're going to answer, and it's going to make me mad. I still have an opportunity to not be mad at you, but it's really in my hands. But I'm going to ask you
This
anyway.
feels like, I had a dream last night about you, and now I'm mad at you.
I
haven't done anything.
Just want you to know I've never dreamt about you.
I'm not saying that you have.
They've only
but
been nightmares.
It's my point exactly.
No. Have you signed your kids up for Trump accounts?
No.
Dang it, Ryan!
I know.
Come on!
And I do feel bad about that because I did intend to do it, but I just haven't done it.
You got to make a plan. That's what the Democrats always say about voting. It just seems very performative. But in this instance, I think maybe it would, I don't know, help the
You're
future
saying
for
you
your
agree
kids.
with the Democrats in this instance? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, with the Democrats who are out there in the streets with their blue hair going, make a plan for your Trump account.
You agree with them?
Find one. You got to do it. I got 4 kiddos, ages 16, now 14, 10, and 5. And it is very wild to look at what an investment into their kids' Trump account, like showing my son, okay, it's set up so that by the time they're 18, they can take control of it because they'd be adults. So what is $50 in my 16-year-old son's account do versus what is $50 in my 5-year-old daughter's account do? Man, time is a friend. But again, if you're 16 and you're investing at 16, a lot of people might have some, like, what is it, like a Roth IRA or something that you can set up for your kiddo if they've got earned income, which is like babysit. You've got earned income. So I signed them up on day one when the Trump account thing became available, signed a couple kids up through my tax return. But at that time, they were like, well, you can only pick 2. And I'm like, well, this is a Sophie's Choice I didn't sign up for. Turns out you can sign up at trumpaccounts.gov very simply for your other kids, and I did. But last payday, I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw $100 in the kids' account. Not each of them. $100. How would you break out $100 that I'm going to invest in my kids' account? Would you go 25, 25, every kid gets 25, or would you give the 16-year-old more money than the 5-year-old?
I think I'd give the 16-year-old a little more. I'd weight it.
I did.
Okay.
How would you break down $100 between 4 kids, ages 16, 14, 10, and 5?
I'd total their ages all together and then take each one's percentage of that age and apply it to the money.
What? Is that serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
It is, because you said $100, so it makes it real easy. So you'd take $100 and you'd total up the ages of each of your kids. So whatever that ends up being, let's say it ends up being
45.
Okay, 45. So then you'd take 16 divided by 45 to find out how much of that $100.
16?
Yeah, because your oldest is 16 years old. So you'd take that percentage and apply it to
but
the 100.
That's not at all correlated to exponential compound interest.
It's just allocating it according to their age and percentage. It's the most basic way to do it.
You would, like, however much, 16% is about a third of 45.
Then he would get the third, and that's the most that anybody would get because he's the oldest.
Oh, I didn't do it that way. I did $50 for Charlie, $25 for Jensen. So 50 for the 16-year-old, 25 for the 14-year-old, 15 for the 10-year-old, and 10 for the 5-year-old.
So you still weighted it.
Oh, heck yeah.
You just didn't
I weighted it more heavily than you did.
Yeah, you did.
Because 2 years, like, if you're looking at those numbers, and this is why I'm just stressing so much, guys, sign up for it is actually incredibly simple to sign up for. It's so simple that even Ryan Wiggins, if he cared about his children, would do it.
Which I don't.
Yes, you do.
What if I bought them each a piece of real estate and said, now that will be your inheritance?
I'd have to know where the real estate was to know if it was a nice thing or a not nice thing. It is incredibly simple. And I find, like, sometimes, Ryan, the more simple it is, the easier it is to push it off and say, I'll do that later.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
I'm a procrastinator.
I'm not, but I just haven't done it.
I'm an admitted procrastinator who knows that, so that I can be an active participant against the things that I know that are my weaknesses. When it comes to stuff like this or work, I'm really active. That's one of the reasons why I'm so meticulously organized. It's because my default isn't like to be a go-getter, get-it-done person. So I've learned probably over the course of a couple decades of being an employee, I need to keep myself in line by doing these said things. But if it's something that is inconsequential in my life, I will do that tomorrow. I don't care what it is.
From the text line. And
yeah.
First, by the way, we have to reference all the honk, everybody, all the truckers.
Give us some honk.
Honk, Ray, honk, Mark, honk, Mike. Bill. Grumpy.
Mark?
I think that's supposed to say grumpy.
Ray.
Alan.
Fooey. These are all of our truckers listening, or so you
Steve.
say.
Yeah.
There's no way for us to vet it. I wish we could know your miles per hour while you texted.
So if you're listening and you're a trucker, this is your time.
The honk.
Text in honk and then your name.
Yeah, 314-241-9797. Sorry.
So the text, though, about what we're talking about right now is, I thought they had to be born in 2024 or 5.
No.
Any older, the Trump account did not apply.
No.
Are you saying anyone under 18 this is available to?
Yes. If you have minor children or grandchildren, you got to get them signed up right now. There are qualifications of who can sign up and get the seed money. The Trump babies, you get $1,000. You were born in 2025 through the end of President Trump's term, 2028. You get $1,000. Who's turning away that money? Don't be that TDS'd. Now, I will also say that it will be incumbent upon, I don't know, Congress, I guess, to say that more babies get that $1,000 in the future, to extend that to, like, yes, there's not this 4-year window of lucky babies whose parents weren't nutbags, so they signed them up for the Trump accounts to get a free grant that's going to materialize and grow over the course of 18 years or 60. I mean, good grief, go put in this thing. Go find out the compound interest on $1,000 seed money that you don't ever touch and see what it looks like at 60. Now look at your retirement account and think about how sweet it would be if you had that. If you are 10 or younger, if you were born in 2016 or more recent, you can qualify for the $250 Dell seed money. I have 2 kids that qualify for that. My one daughter, born in 2016, barely, but she's going to get it, and so does my 5-year-old. To that extent, the only qualification on that is I think it's maybe $150,000. You can Google Trump accounts Dell seed money, and there's a place where you can put in your zip code, and it'll tell you if your zip code qualifies. It's the median income for your zip code. And I live in Madison County. I live in a nice suburban whatever, and we definitely qualify. It's not even really super close. Like more than 90% of the zip codes in our country will qualify. And I think it's for the first 25 million people who sign up for Trump accounts that are 10 and under. Like, go do it right now. You've got kids who qualify, right?
That's why we bought real estate in Brooklyn with radiation poisoning. So that we could get.
You got a great deal.
So we can get a good deal on Trump accounts.
Roadmaster on YouTube comments, Hong Kong retired.
We are, okay, bunch of come in right now.
Yeah.
Hong Kong Josh, Hong Kong Mike.
Okay.
Trucker Alan. And he also says usually doing 70, but using voice to text.
Thank you. Safety, can he read English?
I think he's texting in English. So unless he's using Google Translate.
Google Translate is powerful.
And then Hong Kong Trucking Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, guys. This is your hour. It's always your hour, though. Every hour is the trucking hour on the Annie Frey Show.
Trump accounts, guys, sign up. And I'm glad that person texted that in, because the amount of misunderstanding there is on this, it is, oh gosh, just download the app and sign up. It's so easy. So I was going to say, I put all of his money. I split $100 up 4 ways for my kids. Yeah, they are ballers now. I did that, I think, last Friday on payday. And I just thought to myself, I'm going to do like one payday a month, and I'm going to put in that. If it's a good payday month, maybe it'll be more, but let's just do that. And now you can see every day it says, Molly, and then it'll say what it's worth today. Last night, I was talking to my kids about the S&P 500, and they cared.
That's impressive.
They cared. Now, my kids are exceptional.
My kids only go in hard on Dow. You got an S&P?
Trump accounts might not be for them.
That's incredible. Right. My littlest will dabble in NASDAQ a little bit.
Yeah.
But I can't get them interested in the S&P.
I'm trying so hard to get you interested in the S&P. It's so cool. If you sign up for Trump accounts because you heard us talking about it, after you sign up, will you message me on the Annie Frey Show Facebook or send me a message somehow and tell me about your experience so that I can share that with the rest of the people? Please? I'm begging you to put your kids in the opportunity to benefit from this plan that exists right now, trumpaccounts.gov. And no, they're not giving me anything for saying this. It's just such a great opportunity, and I don't want you to miss it for your kids, for your grandkids. Weekends America Next, is that right?
You got it.
Lies every parent told their kids. Like, trust the NASDAQ kids. Trust me. We'll be right back. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. Reach out to Matt Hayes at 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900. And talk to Home Shield Foundation Repair about the experience you're having right now with a leaky basement. When the water makes its way into your home, obviously you're seeing the problem and the issue of that water, but there's a lot more going on with your foundation that needs and demands attention. Home Shield Foundation Repair is there to look at what you're dealing with and give you the explanation that you need about how to get it solved and restored once and for all. Home Shield Foundation Repair does basement waterproofing, but they do a lot of other foundation repair services as well. And if you visit them at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com, you can look through their peering services that they offer, where they go above and beyond to restore some shifted foundation concerns that you might have. Maybe have noticed a crack in the wall that's new and you know that there's something going on. Reach out to the experts. Matt Hayes is waiting for your phone call. 314-271-9900, HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
The Colonel's cooked up a new $10 bucket of the day just for you. Monday, 24 nuggets for $10. Tuesday, 8-piece fried chicken for $10. Wednesday, 10 wings for $10. Thursday, 8 tenders for $10. Friday, 24 nuggets for... Ooh, you guessed it, didn't you? $10. The $10 bucket of the day deal. Every weekday. Only at KFC. It's finger licking good.
Prices and participation vary while supplies last. Not available on third-party ordering platforms. Tax extra.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Travis Wilson here, State Representative of District 106 in St. Charles, Missouri's first state capital. As a 31-year resident of St. Charles County, I know the issues that are important to our residents, such as protecting women's sports, stopping harmful procedures on minors, and fighting the woke agenda. As your representative, I know what it takes to bring new opportunities to our community to ensure our children have a brighter future. It's been the honor of a lifetime for my family and me to represent you, and I humbly ask for your vote again on August 4th.
Paid for by Wilson for St. Charles. Merle Schneider, Treasurer.
Well, I'm sure you're aware, I guess you can all imagine, that not only are we busy, but other reputable companies are also just as busy, if not busier, and it's only going to get worse. So if you know, I know this is tough, but if your system has not been keeping up with your house for just not this year, but last year, the year before, and even the year before that, if you want to quit doing it and just get it done, just call me, Bart Inman, and it's one easy number, the easiest of numbers that sometimes I forget. So write it down. 314-293-2600, Missouri and Illinois, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Our poll today is about Amendment 5 to eliminate Missouri's income tax. Are you a yes, or are you a no, or are you not a Missouri voter? Those are pretty much your options today on the poll. And then throughout this hour, we are just shouting out the truckers. So shout out to
Honk honk.
Chris the cop. He says honk honk.
Oh, we need a
separate
an LEO one.
Wii U. Put that. Wii U.
Wii U.
If you are a cop or an ambulance driver or any sort of siren on your car, put Wii U. If you're a trucker, put honk honk. Like Trucker Alan just did, and Trucker Mike and Trucker Josh.
This is the #1 show in St. Louis media for 4-year-olds, just so you know. Honk honk Wii U.
141. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Wiggins.
Oh, Wiggins.
All right, these are lies that either you currently are telling your kids or you were told as a kid.
Yeah.
And I want to know if you either are telling them or if you still believe them, if you were told this when you were a kid, because these are very common. Number one is drinking coffee stunts your growth, so you should not drink it if you were a kid.
I just did a story on the show maybe last week or this week, I don't remember, that from, I think, CBS that said 5 cups a day of coffee is good for you.
No, really?
My son doesn't, he's 16, he doesn't want coffee. He's not interested, but I let my daughter just have coffee now.
And she's 14?
Yeah.
My 12-year-old is starting to like it, but I think it's because my wife likes it and she's a little clone of my wife. Drinking coffee does not stunt your growth. That is a lie, and we all have believed it probably at some point in our lives. The next one is if you pee in a pool, the water changes colors.
That is a good lie.
It is a good one.
It's not even a lie. It's an investment.
Well, it does kind of change color, I guess, for a second.
Yeah, but you got to tell the kids that it's like a red dye.
Right. Everybody's going to know.
Yeah. So you don't pee in the pool, kiddo.
Don't pee in the pool. Did you believe this or do you tell your kids this? Either or.
It is true.
Again, the title of the segment is Lies Parents Tell Their Kids.
That's not a lie. That's accurate. It'll happen, kids. If you're listening, don't pee in the pool.
Now, this one I never believed, but I was told this. Chocolate milk comes from brown cows.
Oh, that's a good one.
It is a good one.
That's a good one. There's no harm in that.
Nah, that's fun.
You know what the best thing about having little kids in the car is? Driving through the country, and there are cows in the pasture.
Yep.
What happens?
Cow.
Cow!
You know what's true also, but it's only boys. Tractor.
I think that's sexist.
Girls don't freak out about tractors when they're 3.
The cool ones don't.
What?
I don't know. I meant the other way.
I thought so.
I like tractors. Let's just say if a girl is saying tractor, she's grown up on tractors. Because there are a lot of girls who will grow up on and around
That's
tractors
fair.
in our listening audience,
fair.
and they would understand the difference between like a harvester, a combine.
Although
all
I
that
would
stuff.
think that if you grew up
John
around
Deere.
tractors, you wouldn't be excited to see a tractor either. You wouldn't be like, hey, tractor, because you'd see them every day.
I can see your point.
Thank you.
You'd be like, tractor.
Eh. It'd be like saying, van. Wow.
Corn. You got a name? Oh, guys. Oh, come on. This doesn't have to do with lies you tell your kids. But if you are a Southern Illinoisan, and I would assume maybe a rural Missourian, that it is imperative upon you to drive past fields of crops and to name them.
Yes.
What are you naming when you drive through Collinsville?
Horseradish.
Darn right you are. Ooh, what's that? Son, that's horseradish. Let's go try some.
Although I can't really tell the difference between horseradish and other things.
Hand in your Collinsville card right now.
I know.
How? What are you getting confused
I know
with?
the areas that grow
Corn?
it. So, well, no, but I just can't tell. I know the areas that grow horseradish, so I know that I can say that is because I know this area.
But
I can't
broadleaf.
identify. Yeah.
Spicy.
It looks like a Cabbage Patch head
Kind
coming
of.
out of the middle
there's
of it.
not Cabbage Patch.
Heads.
Cabbage Patches.
Tell you what, there are Cabbage Patch dolls coming out of Cabbage in Georgia at the Cabbage Patch headquarters, in which I've been to twice.
Lies you tell your kids.
I've been there twice. I really have.
How about more lies you tell your kids when we come back? It's my fault. It's actually, I'm going to blame Senator Talent. We're late.
Yes, we are.
We are.
And there are a lot more of these. So
okay, more lies you tell your kids. We've got some coming in on the Annie Frey YouTube chat. I would love this is a really good conversation to ask you the audience what lies you told your kids, or maybe ones you believe that your parents did. Text us 314-241-9797 because you know there are some bangers out there.
And by the way, we open this by saying if you're a trucker, text in honk honk in your name. Honk honk. Kevin just texted in. If you're driving anything with a siren, here's one that just says "we retired."
There you go. We love it. Keep them coming. Lies you told your kids, or maybe were told yourself. Text us at 314-241-9797. More Weekends America next. Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan is an incredibly smart move to make for your brand new mortgage or a mortgage refinance. When you call or text Stewie at 314-324-4440, that's 314-324-4440, talk to Stewie about a bagel loan. Bagel loans come with no closing costs. You go through the process of acquiring that brand new mortgage for your new home or even refinancing, even taking cash out on a refinance of your current home. And there are no closing costs for the refi. Of course, those closing costs can also often make it kind of punitive to even go through the process. So why would you? What if they weren't there? That's what happens when you use the Bagel loan. There's something extra special that Stewie is offering you right now if you're pursuing a new 30-year loan for a new home purchase. If you use that 30-year loan, and you can use the Bagel loan in conjunction with it, he will offer you for the first year of that 30-year loan a 1% discount on your rate for that first year. You got to reach out to him at 314-324-4440. You can Google the Bagel loan for more information. NMLS number 226715.
Missouri's primary election is Tuesday, August 4th.
Join me, Mark Reardon, along with our expert panel as we break down the biggest races, critical amendments, and results in real time.
Election coverage Tuesday, August 4th at 7 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
In the race for state senate, candidate Tricia Burns is missing votes. In just 4 years, Tricia Burns has missed over 400 votes in the Missouri House. Tricia Burns just didn't show up to vote 400 times. Like the vote blocking China from buying our farmland? Tricia Burns, absent. Banning DEI in state government? Absent. Ending taxpayer-funded abortion? Burns, absent. When conservative values were on the line, Tricia Burns went missing 400 times.
Mike Deering for state senate, he shows up and fights for us, for our farmers, for our families, for the conservative values that built Missouri.
I'm Mike Deering. I'll fight to protect our conservative values, and I'll be there every single time.
Mike Deering for state senate, showing out to fight for our conservative values. Paid for by friends of Mike Deering, Megan Kaiser, Treasurer.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
So the text message line is heating up. Lies you tell. Every parent told their kid. Daniel filling in this week for Brad. You said that there was a lie your parents told you.
Yeah, the classic when you're in the back seat at night and you turn the light on in the back of the car and it puts a glare on the road. I tested it as soon as I turned 16 and had one of my friends in the car with me at night. I said, flick that light on in the back, just real quick. Let me see if it's true. And it was quickly debunked.
Not debunked. I was told that it was illegal.
Okay, that's number 6 on this list.
That it's illegal?
That it's illegal to drive with the lights on inside the car.
I don't like it when if I'm driving, maybe your 16-year-old eyes are maybe just more accustomed to being able to see that, Daniel. But the light on in the car at night is definitely something that people maybe take some liberties with.
Well, we've told our kids that it's not a lie. It's just we think it's annoying for other drivers. It's annoying for us too.
Yeah.
So we always say, no, this is bad on the road at night. Other drivers don't like it, which I don't know if it's true or not, but it seems like it would be because it bothers me. Also from the text line, things that parents tell their kids that are lies. This one is said Mama always said, this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. Lies, they say.
That's not necessarily true. Kind of depends on what follows that, I suppose.
What type of hurt, maybe? Because it would hurt your heart to have to discipline your child sometimes, but you do it anyway. But the spank is definitely hurting the kid more. Other ones on this list are if you swallow a watermelon seed, the watermelon will grow in your stomach.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
I absolutely heard that when I was a kid.
I don't really understand that though. I don't know that the watermelon seed, other than providing a little extra roughage for the next 48 hours potentially, like I don't feel as though the consequence of doing that is the same as like touching a hot stove.
Yeah. Yeah. And swallowing a watermelon seed, I don't know why that we were trying to get kids to not do that.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay.
Rhonda says, I told my kids that the house would explode if they touched the thermostat. My oldest was the most gullible. My youngest never believed anything I said. I think that, Rhonda, that probably tracks with most birth orders.
I love this one from the text line. It says, if we saw the rides at the county fair when driving by, Mom would tell us, no, they're just doing testing out there.
That away, Mom. Yep.
That's great.
What she's saying is I wish they would do more testing.
They're doing a big fair at Gateway Raceway right now.
I
drive
know.
by that. What in the world is that?
We drove home from the Cardinals game a couple nights ago. That really crappy game. Last night was a good game. We drove home and saw that. And there was one thing over there that was spinning in circles. It was like red-ish or whatever. It was spinning in such obnoxious circles. I was like, that can't be a ride.
I think they are.
Oh, my gosh.
I looked it up the other day, and it's just this world. It's like a giant fair that just travels around. It's there right now.
And I think it's there for a while. If you look up the Worldwide Technology Racetrack,
yeah,
I think the info is there.
Yeah. So there's a plug. It looks fun. It is number 6 was illegal to drive with the lights on. What about if you swallow gum? It takes 7 years to digest.
How long does it take to digest? Does it say?
I think it goes through you pretty quick.
I don't even really know
doesn't
the
say.
answer. But yeah, that it's going to be there for good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 7 years.
Did you ever swallow gum as a practice?
Well, I didn't really chew gum as a kid. I just didn't like it.
I hate gum.
I still don't like gum.
That's my favorite thing about you. If I were in charge of the world and had the ability, like my first order of business would be to eliminate gum from the face of the planet. Gone immediately.
Yeah,
I'm not even
okay with that.
I'm not even curing world hunger. I'm like, take that out of your mouth right now.
I have to read this one from the text line because this is one I remember my dad telling me this. Kid you not. It says growing up, and I didn't know this was anybody but my dad. That's why I'm amazed to read this.
Maybe it's from your dad. Did you check the number?
No, but it's from 314, so I don't think so.
It's from your dad's burner.
It says, growing up, my dad would tell us about this Native American that lived in the woods along the highway. Do you know what this is? And no one has ever seen him before. So when you see the sign that says watch for falling rock, that meant that the Native American whose name was Falling Rock.
You're looking for the guy.
Was nearby.
Oh.
And at some point, you have to watch out because he might come out and get you.
Isn't one of the greatest pleasures of being a parent getting to screw with your kids? You're laughing like you don't do that.
I don't know that I've done it. I'm sure I've done it a little bit. But.
There's going to be a moment in time where I need to be serious and communicate to my kids something that is really important. They're going to be like, Mom's full of crap. I just love to BS them all the time. And they know that. They know not to ask me about, like, Earth. Like, a lot of things that have to do with animals or geography or whatever. I'm like, go talk to your dad. I've said this before, but I call my dad, or call their dad, my husband, National Geographic. Go ask him. He's a source of information for these things. Tell me if you need to know about communism. I can explain that.
The last one I'm going to do here, just because we're out of time, is cracking your knuckles gives you arthritis. My grandma used to tell me that right up until the day she left us.
I wonder if cracking your neck, cracking your back, is there anything bad about that?
I don't know if there's anything bad about it in particular, but it definitely does not cause arthritis. It's just nitrogen in your joints, and it's just popping. I don't think that it does anything long term. It's considered socially faux pas, though, because it makes you look nervous.
If you're a repetitive cracker.
I am a repetitive cracker. I do it all the time. I'm a repetitive cracker.
Anyway.
Every day, noon to 3.
It's not confined to those hours. We'll be right back.
$1,000 of your taxpayer money to identify 6 locations just for data centers in St. Charles County. I'm Bill Eigel, and if you don't want data centers in our county, then I'm asking for your vote on August 4th.
Paid for by Eigel from Missouri. Lisa Borchers, Treasurer.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IBW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
The radical left let crime and drugs pour into our nation, and they let biological men into girls' sports. But here in Missouri, if there's a problem, we fix it. That's why Ann Wagner's fixing the mess the radical left made and delivering for us. Wagner voted to ban biological men from competing in girls' sports, and she voted to fund the police and provide more resources for Border Patrol agents, keeping our families, communities, and children safe. And Ann Wagner didn't stop there. In Congress, Wagner passed the largest working-class tax cut in American history, kept big government out of our business, protected our way of life, and ensured our communities remain safe. That's why Ann Wagner's endorsed by the Missouri Farm Bureau and Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Ann Wagner for Congress on August 4th.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Hill. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Trump says he may pull the nomination of Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche temporarily after hitting a Republican roadblock led by 2 senators who are leaving office in January.
Fox has heard from multiple sources that there are other senators who have the same concerns, and they are not directly about Todd Blanche at all himself.
Fox's David Spunt.
Now, the concerns relate to an IRS settlement with the Trump family that offers blanket immunity for the president and members of his family to be protected from tax audits and fines in the past. Now, both senators, and we're learning others, wanted in writing that the immunity does not apply to future tax years for the Trumps.
A Senate panel postponing its vote on Blanche's nomination yesterday. The top Senate Democrat wants to create a new federal agency to investigate possible corruption in the Trump administration.
A proposal from Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer would form a federal anti-corruption bureau amid what he says is unprecedented profits from President Trump and members of his family, totaling $4 billion.
The presidency is supposed to be a public trust. Trump has turned it into the single most profitable scam of his entire life.
The White House has repeatedly denied allegations President Trump has profited from the presidency or engaged in conflicts of interest. Schumer's bill is highly unlikely to advance in the Republican-led chamber, but is part of a Democratic pitch to voters ahead of the midterm elections.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. A federal anti-fraud task force says it's working to protect taxpayer money, building partnerships around the country.
A dedicated coalition of state and federal public servants committed to guarding taxpayer dollars like they guard their own bank accounts.
Assistant Attorney General Colin McDonald in South Carolina announcing data sharing agreements with 6 states. America is listening to Fox News.
When I hit my 50s, I felt like things were slowing down.
This is Sandra's Metamucil story.
I started taking Metamucil for digestion, but had no idea it would impact so much more. Not only did Metamucil help me feel more regular, but my heart health saw the benefits too.
Metamucil. One simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to Metamucil.com for more details.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Keeping the great weather going as we go through our Thursday afternoon. Sunny, nice, 85 for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, 69. Friday, scattered showers and a couple of non-severe thunderstorms. Focus on the afternoon, 85. That continues on Saturday, scattered showers and thunderstorms, 70s to near 80. Sunday, partly sunny, 83. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 56 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance and installation, and heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Frey, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
For goodness sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Thursday. We've got Trisha coming in 25 minutes for a riveting, she's promised big things today. Annie, are you okay? Did you hear her bragging about that?
She wouldn't shut up.
I know. She's just so proud of herself.
She said it was the best she's ever done.
We're really proud of her, too, though.
I'm still waiting to see.
And also, right before that, Ethan's Sports and Local. I almost said America.
He said that was going to be a real stinker.
Oh, no. Last night, the Cardinals had a good game, so there's probably a little extra pep in Ethan's step here. That'll be in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes from right now. I go back and forth on whether to talk about this. Ryan, you paying any attention to the scandal of sorts in the WNBA surrounding Sophie Cunningham and her comments about transgender people?
I would say I'm keeping an eye on it.
You are? So
yeah.
You're aware?
Yeah, I'm aware.
I think that there is a reflexive, it's about the WNBA, so I actively don't care mentality.
Like among everybody?
Among people listening to our show.
Oh, I don't know. When it crosses over into culture stuff like that.
It's not about the WNBA, except for it's all about the WNBA. But this story is getting weirder and weirder. So Sophie Cunningham, maybe last week, made the comments saying there were some comments of hers that resurfaced kind of in the wake of the pointing that she did, where people are just looking to try to trash her because that's what they have time to do. They have no other purpose in life. So they dug up some comment that she made about trans girls, meaning boys who identify as girls, playing in girls' sports is not okay. And it was surrounding the William Thomas, who became Leah Thomas, swimming against Riley Gaines. So it was really around the Riley Gaines story that this resurfaced maybe a week ago. She had made some comments then that said, this isn't right. Basically like protect girls' sports. Well, they tried to resurface it because they thought this will really get her. Mm-hmm. And the truth of the matter is that the people who liked Sophie Cunningham before like her even more now and would be willing to, actively participate in supporting her. Her shoes just went on sale. They're really, really cute. I like them. I would like to get a pair of those shoes for my daughter, but they sold out so quickly because Sophie Cunningham absolutely has a share of the market that loves what she's doing and wants to see more. So the market is bearing out that Sophie Cunningham definitely has fans. I know a lot of really awful people who have a lot of fans. So just because people are willing to support you doesn't inherently make whatever it is that you're doing worthy of accolades. I particularly I mean, I love what Caitlin Clark is doing for the WNBA. I would almost say that I'm more of a Sophie Cunningham fan because of how she's doing it. Not to take anything away from Caitlin Clark. I just don't think it really matters. In the WNBA, Caitlin Clark is the Donald Trump there. People have Caitlin Clark derangement syndrome for sure. Well, there were some young girls who showed up to a WNBA basketball game in support of Sophie Cunningham. They were wearing the XXXY shirts that are advocates for no boys and girls sports and a two-gender reality. I don't know why science goes. Fox News reports here that the Seattle Storm co-owner, Celeste Keaton, has been fined and suspended from attending the team's next 5 home games. Why? Well, according to this Fox News report by Jackson Thompson, the suspension and fine come after Keaton allegedly called a pair of teenage Sophie Cunningham fans effing insane during a game this week on Tuesday. Cruz was in the seat. Okay. The independent Seattle-based journalist Brandy Cruz told that to Fox Digital, so she witnessed this. Cruz was in the arena and accompanied the girls who were there to watch Sophie Cunningham and the Indiana Fever take on the Storm. So the Seattle Storm, I don't even know. If somebody gave me $1 million to name Seattle's WNBA team, I would not have $1 million. I always said that all the WNBA teams' names sound like stripper names. Just think about it.
Or American Gladiators.
Sure. I don't know them, but I believe it. So Brandy Cruz is a journalist from Seattle. She accompanied these teen girls who sat on the sideline to support Sophie Cunningham. They wore the XXXY shirts. And one of the co-owners of the Seattle Storm team lost her mind, refer to these teenage fan girls that were there for, fans of the other team, but the owner doesn't come out and berate children because of it. Sophie Cunningham followed up and addressed the incident involving Keaton in a post on X and said, I truly believe there's a safe space and love for, all caps, everybody. Biological girls, biological boys, trans women, and trans men. Everyone is welcome at my table. You can disagree and still be kind. She went on to say bravo to those girls for standing up for what they believe. You'll be hearing from me soon. Yay for gifts. Truly embarrassing of the co-owner, unfortunately, shows the type of leader she is. Like every time all the spotlights and all the eyes go to Sophie Cunningham being like, you better back down, and you better back down right now. She leans in, and she points at the people and says, you've embarrassed yourself. To the co-owner of another WNBA team. That's really ballsy, so to speak. Maybe a little too on the nose here for this conversation. It's really brave of Sophie Cunningham in that moment to say that. But guys and gals, it's the truth. It's the truth. The WNBA is such. I know you guys aren't like, I really want to watch some quality basketball. Is the WNBA playing tonight? I get that. I'm not asking you to do that. I do not care at all if you care about the WNBA. But the WNBA is a subsidized league so that girls can play basketball. And in the midst of it, they're like, but what if we let the boys play too? What does that matter with you? There's no common sense in that. So yes, if I'm Sophie Cunningham, I'm speaking out for job security purposes. There are all the different examples that, of course, we can list right now of situations where men or boys of much lower professional or competitive levels have competed against girls at a much higher level and embarrassed them. And I have lived my life as a female athlete, starting in t-ball, probably as a 6-year-old or something like that. I completed high school as a 4-sport varsity athlete. I was a contributor. I don't have delusions about the success of my athletic career. I accomplished some things, but I had a great time playing with my teammates, experiencing those seasons, learning from fantastic coaches who were wonderful people. That was all so important to me. And the entire time that I was growing up, people didn't make fun of girls' sports. They just didn't care. It was like they existed because it was an opportunity, and why wouldn't you let the girls play? It is wild in my life experience timeline of being around girls' sports that while there is actual real reason to watch the WNBA in 2026 because they've got girls who can play, and yes, Caitlin Clark is one of them, but she's not the only one, that when they finally have a moment to shine for something that they could actually really be proud of and not just be angry about all of the time, they're trying to destroy it from within. That you've got owners, co-owners of the Seattle Storm, F-bombing teenage girls on the sideline who actually should. Did they pay for those tickets? I mean, that would be even more shocking.
If they paid for them?
Yes.
You can get them for free.
I don't think that there is a better example of why DEI does not work than the current WNBA existence. And it doesn't have to be like that. But the WNBA has existed, I don't know. Can you Google real quick and find out if the WNBA is profitable? I think I know the obvious answer to that, but the last couple years have brought attention and dollars into the WNBA that didn't exist before. But the reason the WNBA exists is because the NBA made it possible. Because people pay to go watch the NBA perform. People pay to watch these men be obnoxiously good at the sport of basketball. It's entertaining. It's interesting. And you can't tell me that people only go watch NBA games just because of the basketball. There's drama that goes around it. There's player conflicts. There's all of that stuff that goes around with the professional sport of basketball with men. So women get to do that too. But 5 years ago, if I would have said, name a WNBA team, I don't think 9 out of 10 people would be able to do that. I don't know that 1 out of 10 people would be able to do that. Now everybody can name at least one team, and that's the Fever. And there's a reason for that. And it doesn't mean that it needs to negate everything else, but you finally got something that stands on its own. And because of Caitlin Clark and the attention that she brings to herself, there are a lot of other players who are being noticed, watched. Maybe Caitlin Clark isn't everybody's cup of tea, so you're finding out what the other stories are. That's good. But in the midst of all of this, the thing that exists only because it was subsidized by something else, and only because they were women, now the call is coming from inside the house. They hate it so much that they'd rather see it destroyed than be successful for something outside of their victimhood. The entirety of the WNBA, not because, good on the NBA for making the WNBA possible. I think that's good. I think the WNBA should exist. I like that the NBA is willing to put money behind giving girls the opportunity to play. But if the people who get there and get to participate as athletes can only ever see themselves as victims and not as actual basketball players, how do you expect the rest of us to take you seriously? And then you get a few consecutive years of entertaining, attention-getting ball players of every shape, size, race, color, religion, whatever, and you won't have it because it's not the way it was. Well, the way it was only that way because your victimhood was the first thing that was ever mentioned. There was always this chip on your shoulder kind of martyrdom that existed. And the weird thing is that the only way you get to really claim that is one of two things. One is because you're women. I don't feel like a victim because I'm a woman. I feel like there's a lot of elements of my femininity that I can use as strengths. The second is because there is a lot of racial tension that existed there before the white girl of Caitlin Clark showed up, and there are people who want to make it a race issue. The outside wasn't making it a race issue. The league made it a race issue. The players made it a race issue. I want you to think for 1 second about what it would look like if a transgender athlete, male identifying as female, came on the floor and did to Caitlin Clark what some of these women are doing to Caitlin Clark. What if the enforcer on the other team was transgender, was biologically male, became female, and did what the Kennedy girl, her name's Kennedy, but she spells it Kennedy, so that's what I say. What she did last year where she poked her in the eye, or what the chick did this year, which I can't remember her name either, point proven, where they trample her down and then they throat punch her and keep her down on the ground. What if that person was a transgender male to female? I think that this league would celebrate her more because of that, or him. I think that would end up being a total flex for the WNBA that was happening, and it would be even more protected than those people who attack Caitlin Clark currently are protected. That's Looney Tune land, and it has to stop, and it's not going to stop if common sense normies like you and me, who maybe aren't super into the WNBA, it's not like you think about it. You got to be able to look at this stuff and say, that's crazy. And I'm going to call it crazy. I'm going to point at it and say, that's nuts. And I think Sophie Cunningham is doing that in an incredibly impactful way.
So the league started in 1996. The first time they were profitable was last year. And it was obviously because
they turned profitable last year?
Yeah, Caitlin Clark. It was the first time, according to ESPN, that they ever hit revenue share, which the AI overview is saying that's the first time they reached profitability.
Even more to the point.
Yeah.
I think they'd rather be without her. And I think she's big enough right now that at least on the surface, she could go somewhere else and make something else than the number one name in the game, if she wanted to. Let's take a break. Ethan, Sports and Local. When we come back, I'd love to know if you're all facing or paying any attention to the Sophie Cunningham stuff. Missouri girl through and through as well. It's just impressive to watch. She's got a great strong spine, and I think it's pretty awesome. Ethan, Sports and Local next. Don't go away.
Careful.
Time to find out if Ethan's been drinking.
Is that a new one?
No.
I've never heard that.
It doesn't seem to pop up. It's kind of random, and I don't think that one hits very often.
I would like to invoke my Fifth Amendment rights.
Yeah, I bet you would.
On the advice of your counsel.
Ethan, you like a
On
good
the advice
beer?
of counsel. Do I like a good beer? Yeah, I'll drink beer. I mean, there is not a lot of things that I won't drink.
What?
If I'm being honest. Alcohol-wise.
I didn't know Brad doesn't drink at all. Ryan just smells it and gets smashed.
Yeah.
Apple
I
juice
do.
does that.
But
to
it only
Ryan.
lasts about 15 minutes.
Yeah, and then you take
Then
a
he's
nap.
asleep.
I'm like, oh, man.
In public.
I'm
What's
done.
your go-to bev?
I like a good Jack and Coke. I like Moscow Mules.
But he'll drink anything.
I like bourbons. But then I like some craft beer too. The only thing I won't drink, I hate IPAs. I think IPAs are disgusting.
You ever
That's
seen
pretty much it.
Waterworld?
No.
You know what they had to drink to survive? You
Water?
drink that. No.
What did I have to drink? Pee?
Just go watch it. Yeah, go watch the movie.
Gosh,
No.
it's the only thing, that and Kevin Costner. There are two things people know about Waterworld.
Yep. They had to drink their pee.
Okay, good to know. Thanks
and
for
local,
that.
Ethan?
Sports and local. Hey, we finally have something not terrible to talk about with the Cardinals.
Yay.
Woo! Annie, were you there last night too?
Nope.
Interesting.
Julia
I
was. I
will
talked to
be
her.
sure to note that
That
Annie
is
was not there
interesting.
Yeah,
for their one win basically in the last month.
Interesting.
They beat the Cubbies.
Not that interesting.
Final score was 3-2. It was 0-0 going into extra innings after 9 innings.
Was
There
it
was
a
still no
pitcher's duel
score.
or was it a hitter's failure?
There's probably a little bit of both, looking at how the Cardinals have played as of late.
Shots fired.
But the pitching was very good. Dustin May probably making his last start as a Cardinal. The trade deadline is this upcoming Monday, August 3rd. He is all but guaranteed to get traded.
May?
So they're selling.
They
I
are
need to
selling.
get
yes.
that- I need to get
think
that
we talk about
jersey
this
right
just about
away.
every day, Ryan. You got to get that. Yeah, you're running out of time, Annie.
Libby comments IPA tastes like armpit. Well, I don't know what either of those things taste like, so I'll
Libby,
take Libby's word
I have
for
some
it.
questions for you, Libby. What you're doing in your your spare time
Don't
when you're
ask
not
questions
listening
you don't want
to
answers
the
to,
Annie Frey
Ethan.
Show. But anyway, I guess we'll just go back to Cardinals as Annie drops things
I have
in her
not been-
spot.
I was drinking. It was water.
Yeah, Annie was
Out of
drinking.
my water bottle.
Look, she has to survive, too, in Waterworld.
You don't know what's in this.
Yeah, don't ask questions you don't want the answers to, guys.
Doesn't even have to be my urine.
It does kind of smell. Wait
right.
a second. It was 0-0 going into extra innings.
So we're back to 500.
When Pete Crow Armstrong hit a 2-run home run,
And
that
he
made it
pimped that
2-0.
sucker.
Yeah, he did. That
I have a-
was
do
going
you-
all kinds of viral.
Dislike him?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay. It's very trendy.
Oh, he's so annoying.
I thought, didn't he have a really good World Baseball Classic for the United States of America?
Yeah, he did. I respected what he did for our country. I still don't like him.
And that's as American as it gets.
Yeah. You know, here's the thing. I'll say
I'm
this.
going to tweet that out, what just happened there, and I'm going to tag all of the Cubs fans' hashtags.
Go for it. I'll fight
And
all of them. I'll bring it on.
I don't think they're going to go after you.
Here's what I will say.
I'll fight all of them.
Pete Crow Armstrong knows his role, and he plays it very well.
Punk?
He knows that he's the villain. He knows that the league is not a huge fan of him.
I
that
think he looks like he should be in a punk rock band.
he kind of looks. Never
doesn't
mind.
look like
That's kind of mean.
Yeah, I just think he doesn't strike me as a guy who would be as talented at baseball as he is, just physically.
He puts himself in a lot of
He can't hear me
bad
now.
positions with just making stupid plays.
Yeah.
He's had a couple of those against the Cardinals where you're able to just kind of laugh at him and say, it's kind of turning into, it's being coined as, yeah, those are PCA moments.
I
but
don't like that he gets the AOC treatment.
he's also a good baseball player, and unfortunately the Cardinals are going to have to deal with him for a long time. He's been really good against the Cardinals this year, and he was good last night again.
I'm going to start calling you RSW, Ryan Stanley Wiggins. That's your middle name, right?
No.
Stanley?
Yeah, it's Stanley.
That's your middle
It's
name.
not. It's just the cup I use.
Stanley.
And it's the cup I win every season based on which team
It's
I'm
Robert.
with.
You are such a loser.
It's
And,
Robert, isn't it?
I can't tell you. We've
It's
talked
Robert.
about this
It's
before.
Robert.
Ryan,
and
Robert
if you don't
Wiggins.
remember, that's your fault.
It's Robert. Robert Stanley, same thing. Am I right, Ethan?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Annie's middle name is also Robert, though. That's why
Annie
she
Robert
remembers it.
Fry.
I just thought
That's got a
wow,
nice ring to it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
real strong.
that is the exact name my parents gave me.
Yeah. Yep.
Why? Because they like Ryan so much.
They like me, and they knew she was going to marry a Fry somehow, and I don't know how.
Arranged marriage. You know, Republican stuff.
To put a bow on this whole Cardinals
My
thing.
parents would have been like, I don't think you want her. She's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on
They
here. It's
liked
a little
me so
extra.
much.
Yeah.
They were like, she's too. No, don't do that.
Sorry.
Just gonna put a bow on this whole Cardinals thing that's been kind of going on in between like 4 other conversations. Bottom of the 10th inning.
Felt judgy.
The Cardinals have the bases loaded with nobody out. Jordan Walker, an RBI force out, 2-1, and then Ivan Herrera, a 2-run walk-off double.
Bomaritsky.
Desperately needed for him, and the Cardinals back to 500, as Annie said, and will try to finish a 4-game series with a split against the Cubs today. So, yeah, they needed that one. It was nice for them to be able to win that ball game. And as mentioned, the trade deadline coming up on Monday. If you haven't checked out the latest episode of the Lou Sports Talk podcast, you should go and do that. Go and find it on STL Sports Central's YouTube channel. 3,000 views, I believe, already. So this one's doing pretty well. Had Bob Nightingale on, so we had a pretty big guest.
I'm sure you'll have a lot to talk about here in the next coming weeks with whatever the Cardinals team looks like now is going to shift in the next few weeks to look like something different, recalibrate expectations.
The Hot Stove League.
Stop saying words. What do you think you're doing?
I think that Ryan is just like with all of his power trying to find literally
Ryan,
anything that he can talk
nobody
about.
said.
Nah,
Ryan, with all of his power.
I'm one of the guys.
You said that like what's
Guy
his face?
is
yeah. I'm one of the guys.
I'm one of the guys.
Guy is not a word I would use to describe you.
Ethan, one more story before we break.
Yeah, sure. We can do
Trisha's
that.
pacing out there with her incredible award-winning Annie, Are You Okay segment.
She actually is. It's a little concerning the way she's kind of twitching her head too.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard any of this commotion the past several days
About Fauci?
About St. Louis and the NBA potentially coming here?
Yes.
You seen any of
Blazers.
this?
Yes.
The Portland Trail Blazers have been having some issues between
Come to
ownership.
St. Louis. We'll fix them.
Yeah.
They've been having
Fine.
some issues between ownership and the city. They lease the Moda Center. That's where they play. But that is set to expire in 2030. And as mentioned, the franchise's new owner, local politicians, are having a hard time figuring out how to move forward. So they're basically in a standoff right now. Tom Dundon acquired the team in March for an estimated $4 billion. Let's see, this revolves around funding used to renovate the Moda Center. So it's very messy, I guess is the best way to put this.
Would you want an NBA team here?
Here's where the connection to St. Louis comes. One of the minor owners of the team is Richard Chaffetz, who is, of course, a business leader,
We know that
philanthropist
name.
here
Chaffetz.
in St. Louis. So the question is now becoming, if the Trailblazers were eventually wanting to leave, could St. Louis be a new home for them? So this is no further than just, is this a potential option with him in the mix over there? And already people around the area saying that, leaders in the area saying, hey, we'd love to have the NBA. Even the Blues had a statement saying, we would welcome the opportunity to use this facility with another team if it meant, growth for the city. So
I just looked up market size because I always figure if they're a bigger market, they're not going to move to a smaller market. We're about the same size.
Mm-hmm.
It's not outside the realm of possibility.
So this is going to get louder as time continues on, but something to at least keep an eye on to see, if things continue to get more bumpy for the Trailblazers and Portland politicians.
What does St. Louis get first, an NBA team or an NFL team?
NBA.
Yeah, NBA. I don't think the NFL is ever coming back to St. Louis, personally.
I would never say never, but probably not in a generation. Trisha coming in for Ethan Sports and Local. What is she doing? Annie, are you okay?
Sponsored by All Financial.
There you go. Annie, are you okay with Trisha next? Your text messages, we're asking you about Amendment 5 in the state of Missouri. Are you voting yes on Amendment 5 to eliminate Missouri income tax? Mark and Mark said on this show yesterday, vote yes on Amendment 5. We want to know what you think. Voting yes, voting no. You're a Missouri voter, but you're not voting, or you live outside of Missouri. Trisha's in here next. Don't go away.
Home's exterior a little love. Hi, it's Kim, and if your siding is cracking, it's fading, or just doesn't stand up to our St. Louis weather, it's time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design because they're experts in James Hardy siding, which is this durable, low-maintenance option, and it looks beautiful. Plus, you have customizable colors and textures, and so you can give your home a completely new look while protecting it for decades. Don't wait until the small problems turn into big ones. Visit lakesidearty.com to schedule your free consultation.
Travis Wilson here, State Representative from District 106 in St. Charles, Missouri's first state capital. I wanted to remind everyone that we have a crucial primary election coming up on Tuesday, August 4th. No excuse, in-person voting has already begun, and I'd appreciate your vote to continue my service for the great people of St. Charles. For more information on early voting or to learn more about me and the important issues facing Missouri, visit me on Facebook at Wilson for St. Charles. Thank you, and may God continue to bless the state of Missouri.
Paid for by Wilson for St. Charles. Merle Schneider, Treasurer.
Hey there, it's Jill Schlesinger. I'm launching a new show. It's called Money Moves, and your money is going to move. We're going to help you make better financial decisions. We're going to call out the BS you're finding all over social media. We're going to give you actionable guidance to make your financial life clearer, less stressful. We're going to answer your financial questions and take the mystery out of your financial life. Follow and listen to Money Moves with Jill Schlesinger wherever you get your podcasts.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit throttlenet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
Many times, a person hires a law firm after an injury without doing research. It can be a big mistake or not. Sometimes, after you have hired a certain lawyer, you realize you made a certain mistake. But guess what? Just because you hire them doesn't mean you can't fire them. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you think you've hired the wrong firm, you may have. So do this. Google Morgan & Morgan results or visit forthepeople.com for cases just like yours. You may find that our full-service injury firm should have been your choice in the first place. Last year, almost 12,000 people discharged their law firm and hired us after further research. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com today and let's get started. Or call Pound Law on your cell phone. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Have you heard those ads claiming Amendment 4 stops conservative amendments?
That's not true. It actually stops a couple big cities from pushing radical ideas into our Constitution. Remember 2024? Only 8 out of 114 counties voted to allow transgender surgeries on children.
That's terrifying. We can't let just a handful of counties rule the whole state.
Exactly. Amendment 4 requires broad statewide support and keeps foreign money out of our elections. Vote yes on 4 this August 4th.
You convinced me. I'm voting yes too.
Paid for by Freedom Principle MO, Missouri First PAC, Kate Sickles, Treasurer.
The YouTube live chat poll today is, are you voting yes on Amendment 5 to eliminate Missouri income tax? Yes, no, those are your options. Or you're not in Missouri, so you can also let us know that. That is today's YouTube live chat poll. Let us know what you think about Amendment 5. Are you going to get rid of Missouri's income tax? It is 2:36. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
2026 is a year to celebrate. America 250 on 97.1 FM Talk is sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
And now it's time to play Is Annie Okay With This?
Well, Trish is in studio with us for this award-winning, we already know, award-winning, Annie, are you okay?
That's a projection, but
feels
Safe.
good.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Safe bet.
Yeah.
Hi, Annie and crew.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Looking forward to you winning an Academy Award.
I feel
right.
excited about that.
And
Is
a
that,
Tony.
Is that the movies and the plays?
Yep.
It's going to
Okay.
be for your YouTube performance.
Yep.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Here we go.
New category.
All right. Canadian town finally says goodbye to decades of rotten fish smell.
It's about time.
Residents of St. Mary's, Newfoundland are finally getting relief from a lingering stench caused by 110 abandoned tanks of fermented fish sauce.
Oh,
left-
my fish
Sauce?
sauce.
Fish sauce
Oh.
left behind more than 20 years ago.
This
It's
is
just
why I
been
don't eat
sitting
fish.
in vats.
I thought this was going to be like there was a natural disaster, a lake dried up, it's been dead fish, and finally they're dealing with it. No, it's
Company
just a
abandoned.
sauce company.
A sauce company up and left.
What is
all
fish
this.
sauce?
It's very. Can you explain it more? Because it's very popular in Asian cuisine.
Okay, I would have to compare it to soy sauce because that's the closest thing I can
Does it
think
have
of.
fish in it? Is it sauce made of
I
fish?
can't really tell you why it's called fish sauce. I don't know the answer to
Is
that.
it because you put it on
You
fish?
probably put it on fish a
Is
lot,
it made of fish?
but I don't know what it's really made of
It's
or why
in
it's
a lot
different
of
than soy
Chinese
sauce.
food.
Yeah,
You cook with it. With
it's
Chinese
not
food.
as potent as soy sauce. It seems like
It's
it's a little
very
less
salty.
but it is salty. Yeah,
An
you're right.
amber-colored liquid condiment made from fish
Oh, it is made from fish.
and salt
I think it stinks after 20 years of
that are
sitting there in
packed together and
vats.
Yeah.
fermented
It's
for
supposed to be-
12 to 24
It's
months.
supposed to be good for you though.
It's a key seasoning in Southeast Asian cooking. Yeah, it like really probably clears you out.
Yeah.
So the
Nothing a good parasite
$1.2
can't do
million
for
cleanup is now underway to safely remove and dispose of the waste. Town leaders say it's the end of a long fight to restore the community. So there's been about 300 people in this town just sitting there with these vats.
Just reeking.
The thing is, it started with
110
3 million
abandoned
people.
tanks. Yeah. Annie, are you okay with things that stink?
Ooh,
Now think about this.
award-winning.
I'm ready for my Tony. You can just mail it.
Oh, now it's a Tony.
Uh-huh.
Just gonna EGOT before we get into this segment.
It was an Academy Award and a Tony.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to think of anything that, like, for instance, I don't want it to be prolonged, but I don't mind the smell of gasoline. I'm trying to think of
Oh,
things.
I love that. At
Yeah.
a gas pump. Yeah.
I don't want to smell it like on my hands or clothes or what shoes. If
No,
it,
but briefly.
you know, when you dribble a little on your shoe.
Yeah, just a little drip drip.
Is there anything that you guys think that everybody thinks smells bad, but you think smells good?
Well, gasoline would have been one.
Yeah,
Gosh, I can't think of other ones.
I'm a no. We'll just leave it as I'm a no.
No on
Thanks
things
for
that
thinking
stink.
so hard about that, though.
I'm playing it.
Yeah, okay,
It's-
get there.
No, you know what? I think it was muted here. Yeah.
All right.
Backlash.
I was okay 7 times before anybody else knew about it.
Yeah.
She's really okay. Backlash.
You're
Pauses.
doing great, Daniel. That was another. I screwed up like 7 times today. I'm not even doing the board. You guys forgot to remind me.
I told you wouldn't do it.
I
Annie,
know, but
you
you
should do the board
sabotage.
today.
I keep saying I need to do it too, and I always find out. Remember at this point in the show that
Yeah,
I forgot
it
to
is
do
too
it,
late.
and you just sit there and laugh at me.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's
Trisha.
true.
Backlash pauses AI robot classroom pilot. A New York school district has paused plans to introduce a $60,000 AI-powered humanoid robot named Sally.
Well endowed.
After concerns over student privacy and the manufacturer's ties to a company linked to AI sex dolls.
Yep.
Officials insist the robot would support STEM education.
For
not-
people who don't know that Ryan has talked about this, he has a little bit on the air. You just seem really excited and informed
about this
Really?
on this-
robot.
I'm
About this
confident in my
robot.
knowledge
Without
about
adding
it.
any other context. You're like, yep,
Yep,
that's
already-
right.
already knew
Mhm.
that.
Say it again.
Yeah, it's a sex robot. Go on.
I can't wait for Trisha's question in this.
Officials insist the robot would support STEM education, not replace teachers. The district says it's reviewing privacy protections before moving forward. Annie, are you okay? It sounds like you guys have already talked about this. Annie, are you okay with humanoid robots in classrooms?
I don't know if the humanoid thing is necessary. I feel like there is an application where robots and technology can be introduced into the classroom to offer an alternative to the standard way you do it. But I actually still think in a classroom you still have to learn how to think, not what will think for you. I don't like a lot of technology in the classroom. I don't like everything being on Chromebooks or iPads or apps or whatever. I don't like that. Do you have to have a physical book that you're flipping through. I don't know about that, but I do think you still need to be writing things down and turning it into someone who has to be able to read what you wrote. And I think we're too far away from that. This is one of those instances where I think in 10, 15, 20 years, there's going to be a generation of parents who were raised in a way with technology and all of this stuff where we all ran quickly to implement all of this new tech, and they're going to want something different for their kids. I hope, I guess, maybe.
Think about in like 80 years when our kids' are old grandpas and grandmas and be like, when I was a kid, we didn't have chips implanted in our heads. We had to learn it from robots on trampolines.
There are a lot of 80-year-olds
true.
listening
It's
right
so
now who
true.
are like, I do not talk like that. You made me sound like I was 85.
Okay, by that point, there'll be 120-year-olds.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How will they be?
What?
How will they be? How will they talk?
They will say, well, when I was a kid, we had real sexy robots that taught us everything.
Alrighty.
Worst aquarium.
There were 2 weeks in 2026. It was glorious when I was a kid.
Oh, man. Okay. Worst aquarium ever 1-star review turns into museum marketing success.
Okay, I love this.
A Massachusetts whaling museum is cashing in after a viral Google review called it the worst aquarium ever. The museum printed the joke on T-shirts and other merchandise, boosting sales by 250% in just 1 week and generated thousands of orders worldwide.
If they sucked, though, and you're going up 250% from basically nothing, is that a big win?
I mean, it's a win.
Yeah, I guess so.
Annie, are you okay with museums?
Okay, so here's the museum thing. Once I get there, yes.
I don't like the idea.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I hear
museum
this.
better than
I
the
hear
idea
this.
of the museum.
Well, it's like you got an afternoon, maybe a morning. You can go do something. It's not high on my list, but I can't think of a museum that I went to that I didn't feel like I walked out of that museum unenriched by whatever was there. Even if it's not a topic that I'm like super, super interested in, that if I've done the Smithsonian thing. I have a Smithsonian story here. I hope I don't want to scoop you here on anything you're going to say, but there's a Fox News report out from today. Peter Abroska reports the embattled former face of the United States COVID-19 response is prominently displayed and heroically framed at the Smithsonian National Museum of American History. Did you know this? No. As the network of Smithsonian institutions faces scrutiny over woke messaging from government officials, Fauci, formerly the head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, has a prominent place in the museum's Entertainment Nation exhibit. A placard dedicated to Fauci says, quote, as a deadly pandemic ravaged the nation, major sports leagues found themselves at the center of a debate over reopening the country. And then it goes on to say, amidst a cacophony, museum words, of misinformation. This is why I don't like them.
Uppity.
They stress me out. Of misinformation and denial, advice from Anthony Fauci, the nation's leading epidemiologist, urged leagues to make decisions about resuming play, quote, based on scientific evidence and public health judgment. When baseball became the first league to retake the field, Fauci threw the ceremonial opening pitch into the first base dugout. It doesn't say that, but that's true. If you haven't seen the Fauci pitch, he pitched that first pitch, as well as he handled the pandemic, wearing a face mask in a stadium empty of fans. I mean, this is actually in the Smithsonian right now. So, I mean, you can go. I think it's important to go into a museum, open mind, critical thinking, but there's never a day where I'm like, guys, do you want to go to a museum?
You know what else is tough? You're talking about the Smithsonian, big museums. Yeah, it's a day, and it usually ends up being very well worth your time. But, and I don't know about the Smithsonian because it's super woke, but if you go to a little...
It's incredible.
If you go to a little museum in like a little town, it's just like the history of whatever town you're in, and you go in and you're like, I'm going to find out the history of this town, which I do find interesting. The sad part is that it's usually run by volunteers who are incredibly eager,
passionate
to tell you everything they know, and you're the only one in there.
Good for them.
And good for them,
This is their
except that when
moment.
you walk through and you're like, I just want to go through 15 minutes and just walk through, you ain't getting out of there.
No, it's a commitment.
You
You're
are
right.
spending half your day in there.
Yeah,
You made a friend.
The bigger
Yes.
the museum, the less likely you are to incur that. But
Yes.
again, I mean, St. Louis has some awesome museums and, like the aquarium and all that stuff. I will never go into those. I will go in like for other people because it's what the kids want to do or whatever. And when I go out, I'm like, people should know about this. I'm like, I'm an idiot. I should have just had a better attitude about it. It's just, I would rather do 100 other things probably first. That's all. I don't know. One more?
Sure. Cruise passenger sparks outrage with restaurant fork. Did you guys see this one?
No.
A Carnival cruise passenger went viral after a video showed her using a restaurant fork to scratch her bare feet.
Ew. Let's get
continuing
Ryan's
to
barefoot
eat.
opinion on this one here.
I couldn't stop thinking about those flip-flops.
You guys, it's not that weird.
Ryan wore flip-flops to work
It's
yesterday.
just, I wore flip-flops yesterday. It was not even on purpose.
That's not.
I was wearing them before work, and I forgot to bring a change of shoes.
Ryan.
Yes.
The shoes on your feet are on purpose.
No. No.
It's not a zero-sum game, but it's right next to it that the shoes on your feet would ever not be on purpose.
Here's the thing. I brought a change of pants. I brought socks. I forgot to bring the shoes.
They were so flip-floppy.
I showed everybody my pants.
Mm-hmm. And your toes and all of your toes.
I did not show everybody my toes.
We all saw your toes.
I wasn't flaunting them.
Everybody, well, you kind of look like it. You look like you're pretty proud.
What did you think
Out and proud.
of them?
I didn't look at them because I walked around all day with my eyes on the ceiling.
It was a lot. I wasn't ready for it when I saw them.
Daniel, what did you think of my feet?
Ew. On the...
Under the advice of counsel, I would like to plead the
He's good. I like it. If I were in a restaurant and I saw somebody scratching their feet with a restaurant-issued fork.
The bottom of her foot.
That's the worst, but it's not like there are other areas where they could be scratching that make me go, well, I kind of understand that. I'm just repulsed and out. I'm not eating there. I don't know that what are you going to
You're on a cruise. It's a Carnival cruise. Carnival says the utensil was immediately removed from service and reminded guests that forks are
like
intended
thrown
for food,
into the ocean?
not
Because there's
foot-
one solution here, along with the foot scratcher.
You lost your privilege. You use your hands for everything now, ma'am.
Yeah. I mean, the damage was done, and it's on video. It's terrible. Annie, are you okay with feet?
I am.
Yes.
I am okay with I'm not mad at him. I'm just going to put it that way. I'm not going to say anything on the air that's going to get clipped and used against me. Oh, my gosh. We'll be right back with the results of today's YouTube live chat poll. Good show. Good show out here on your responses. We'll get some texts as well from the text line 314-241-9797. Are you voting yes on Missouri's Amendment 5 to eliminate the Missouri state income tax? We'll be right back. So let's talk about Home Shield Foundation Repairs.com is the website for the waterproofing in your basement. You want experts, but you also want kind people. You want those folks who are going to do the project right the first time, but that you're going to like. You're going to see why they have been successful in the business that they have. And that starts with basically an interview of them in your basement and you and their services. You can look over their website at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com and see the different foundational repair services that they offer. Read reviews of satisfied customers, people who have firsthand experience of Home Shield Foundation Repair, and get to know them a little bit. Then when you call the owner, Matt Hayes, and tell him what you're dealing with, they're going to give an up-close and personal assessment of whatever your issue is that you're facing. So when you call 314-271-9900, that's 314-271-9900, talk to Matt Hayes, and you say, dealing with this water in my basement, just found it for the first time last week, or we've been dealing with it for years, and we got to get it fixed once and for all. What can you do for me? He'll set up an appointment. He'll come give you a look and see what he can do. When he fixes your basement, when he waterproofs it, he puts a lifetime warranty on his work as well. 314-271-9900, online at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
Mark Cox here. Don't be fooled by those deceptive ads you're hearing on Missouri Amendments 4 and 5. Get the truth. I'll explain all of the amendments and key local races. Download my August voter guide at 971talk.com.
Stewie is here from Stewart's American Mortgage. And Stewie, things are kind of heating up in the Middle East. Rates are inching up. people are on the sidelines, what do they need to know right now?
You know what, Mark? We believe very, very strongly that interest rates ultimately are going to drop back. Hopefully this mess in the Middle East will be over. Oil prices will drop back and interest rates are going to drop down. Now, if you're sitting by the sidelines and saying, hey, interest rates are high, I can't afford the house right now. If you wait until interest rates drop, there are going to be more people bidding on that house. You're going to have higher prices. Not the way to go. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you 1% less for the first year. That means you lock the rate at 6.5%. You're paying 5.5% the first year. We believe rates are going to go down that low. This gives you the opportunity to go ahead and buy the house at the right price. A year from now, you can refinance for free with the bagel loan. Bam, you got the house of your dreams.
Don't miss out on this amazing offer. Call or text Stewie on his cell phone, 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440, or Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
In the race for state senate, candidate Tricia Burns is missing votes. In just 4 years, Tricia Burns has missed over 400 votes in the Missouri House. Tricia Burns just didn't show up to vote 400 times. Like the vote blocking China from buying our farmland? Tricia Burns, absent. Banning DEI in state government? Absent. Ending taxpayer-funded abortion? Burns, absent. When conservative values were on the line, Tricia Burns went missing 400 times.
Mike Deering for state senate, he shows up and fights for us, for our farmers, for our families, for the conservative values that built Missouri.
I'm Mike Deering. I'll fight to protect our conservative values, and I'll be there every single time.
Mike Deering for state senate, showing out to fight for our conservative values. Paid for by friends of Mike Deering, Megan Kaiser, Treasurer.
The Annie Frey Show is St. Louis conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Are you voting yes on Amendment 5 to eliminate Missouri income tax? Yes on 5, no on 5. You're a Missouri voter, but you're not voting, or you live outside of Missouri. I don't know if we've got any texts that you want to highlight. We don't have much time here. 314-241-9797. We've got a lot of honk and weave going on there.
A lot of people in their trucks.
But we've got some thoughts here. Let's see. I got a lot of text here. Ripper said yesterday, I say no to Amendment 5, or that would say the legislators did not work out all the details of implementation, which is kind of what we were hearing from Mark and Mark yesterday. Is like, it's just kind of convoluted. Maybe wasn't ready for prime time. Please consider going onto the Annie Frey YouTube channel or just listen to the podcast, because we had Mark Cox and Mark Reardon in yesterday to really talk out the primary that's coming up next week here for Missouri. And just listen to what they had to say, because as Illinois voters here, that's how I would vote in this poll. I live outside of Missouri. I will not be voting Tuesday, but I know that this is a really big deal for a whole bunch of you listening right now on these issues.
Most of our texts are just yes on 5, but the ones that aren't all explain why they aren't. And some of the stuff is stuff we've addressed that's not really happening. So I guess the messaging, and I don't want to just say fear-mongering, but it kind of is working based on some of these comments where people say, I'm not sure about this or that.
Yeah, so we don't live in Missouri, so we can't really discuss our position on it. I think it would be incredible if Missouri was able to effectively eliminate their state income tax. One can only dream on the blue east side of the Mississippi River. We asked you, here's your poll results for today. 219 votes in, which is up. So thank you for participating in this. Are you voting yes on Amendment 5 to eliminate Missouri income tax? 1% of you said you're a Missouri voter but not voting.
Okay.
19% say you live outside of Missouri. 21% no on 5. 59% yes on 5. So 1/5 of our voters said they're no. That's interesting. We will continue to cover here on 97.1 FM Talk. Mark Reardon next.
Digital footprint trip up your search for your next job. That's because employers audit the social media of potential employees.
Anything inappropriate.
Jason Wachtel of the search firm J.W. Michaels & Company says old pictures of college keg stands or years-old posts about politics can be deal breakers.
If it's out there, it could come back and bite you in the rear.
I'm Rob Hart.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson.